All right, Justin, thank you for coming. I really appreciate it. As you know, we were talking about the for years I wanted to start the podcast, and the purpose was just I want to have conversations that I enjoy because I can obviously talk my head off about video production, and I want to talk to other people who care about the same things I care about. And then B, I would hope the audience gets something out of this that these are the conversations I wish I could have heard when, I was starting out, because there may be some entertainment, some golden nuggets in there that hopefully somebody could benefit from. Right. So thank you again, like I said, for coming.
Thank you for having me.
And so let's start with, I just want to know, what do you do, man? I think you do some cool things with video.
It's a wide,
Yeah, I know.
wide array of things. My wife, friends, family. I feel like sometimes they don't know what I do. I just tell them I'm a camera operator. I shoot photos. I shoot videos. My buddy Dalton says if it's legal, he'll shoot it. From helicopters to different countries. Fiji, sleeping in the dirt in a little metal hut and baking till 2 a.m. and the hut finally cooled off because it sat in the sun and cooked. To here, Kissimmee Motorsports, or Kissimmee, Orlando, all over the place. So,
wow, tell me more about the Fiji thing. That's what you got me already curious. So I want to know.
So I go to a church in Rockledge, Florida, and they were going on a mission trip, and they pretty much was like, hey, if anyone wants to go, know that it'll be X amount of dollars. We would love people to go. And I shoot for the church time to time. And I was just thinking, there's nobody in the church that documents anything. They say all these cool things, and you'll see like some cell phone photos and pretty much garbage stuff that they show to the people. And there's no story to it. So I went after the service and I was like, hey, Brad, if you're cool with it, I would be interested in going. Know that I don't know any details other than obviously what you just told us. And he's like, listen, if you want to go, I would love for you to go. And I was hoping you were going to come up and ask me. So long story short, the church paid for me to go. I had no idea what I was getting into. When you see Fiji, I would imagine, and anyone else that sees Fiji, you think beautiful island, beautiful blue waters, beautiful beaches, beautiful women, everything. Well, that was far from that. When you land in Fiji, it's beautiful there. But where we were was the opposite end, pretty much the middle of nowhere. These people lived in huts, shanties, shacks, whatever you want to call them, like little pieces of cardboard. It was pretty much like a homeless camp. And church wanted me to document it. I thought we were staying in a hotel. I was far off from that. The food was insane. But actually, I don't even know what I was eating. It was a whole bunch of different animals, and they literally just chopped stuff up with machetes, cooked it, and they're like, yo, here you go. I'm like, I'm pretty sure there's bones and stuff in that. And yes, every bite you would chew, get bone, spit the bone out, and you just kind of took it for what it was. And luckily, the family that I stayed with, they gave up their children's room, and they left me a mattress, like, I don't know. It might as well not even been a mattress. I felt like I was just sleeping on hard concrete for 2 weeks. But I shot a bunch of stuff. I showed a really cool story. The overall video ended up being like 7 minutes. Had some people in the church crying, tearing up. And to me, that's what I wanted to accomplish. And they got to see what the church was doing and what that village was trying to do. And I don't want to say I'm getting choked up, but it was a really cool like opportunity for me to be able to show that to everyone that donates or tithes money to certain things like this. I shot everything on an A7S III. I brought small audio stuff and just captured what I could, and it was an awesome experience.
I think that's incredible. And like, you getting choked up is incredible because that's the power of video, right?
Yeah.
You were there experiencing it, but you were able to, with this little equipment, capture those emotions. The people up, like down here, can now feel those emotions, right? They can feel that story, and that can show them, like you said, what the church is doing. So I think the power of video is just incredible.
Yeah.
Now, what would you say? Would you say that's a positive experience for you? Because obviously there's hardship, right? But on the other end, you came back with something incredible.
Absolutely. It was very valuable and eye-opening to me. I didn't, like, you see like National Geographic and like people living like this, but to actually see it and live it and just be part of it, and knowing that these people live like this day to day. Like, I'm going home in 2 weeks. These people are living like this forever. It was pretty crazy. There was one little scene where there's a kid like eating who knows what off this plate. He's sitting all by himself, maybe 2.5, 3. I've got a 4-year-old. So it just like, I hit home knowing that I have a 4-year-old that gets whatever he wants, anything, food wise, whatever. If I serve him something, he doesn't like it, I'm cooking him something else because I can. This little kid, he's eating
when he can,
practically, it looked like garbage, and he's just having the best time. He even smiles like in the thing because he saw the camera or whatever, and he just got excited, like, ooh, someone's paying attention. But yeah, very eye opening. And every night I take my bed, or I go to bed, and like, holy cow, this is the best thing ever. And I've never slept better in my life when I got home. And just knowing that I have it so good, and compared to like super rich people and everything like that, like knowing that I got a car, AC, a hot shower, that was wild. There's no showers or anything like that.
Probably no plumbing, right? Yeah.
It was literally a kiddie pool that had water in it from I don't know where. It was freezing. And then you got like a little cup and you poured it on yourself to wash yourself. And that, people just walk by. They're just like hanging out, like living their life, and like, yo, someone's taking a shower. Like, whatever. It is what it is. Like, we're all living. And yeah, anyway, I'm getting off on a tangent. But it was a really eye-opening experience, and I'm very thankful that I got to be a part of that. And I got to be a part of that because I'm into cameras and I love what I do more than anything. And I hope to keep experiencing more things like that.
No, that's incredible, man. Like I said, I think we feel very, living in a country like America, like we're in the U.S. We are very privileged. Like, I have 2 daughters, 4 and 8, and they, like for them, like I'll have something really delicious in front of them, and they may just be like, I don't feel like eating it, right?
Yeah.
And then to see the contrast that you saw, which is like where that kid would probably, would love to have whatever my kid just refused but again, the circumstances are different. And I don't know. It just makes me feel very wonderful that we are where we are. But at the same time, I feel like, I don't know. I feel like everyone should have what we have. And I don't know how to make that happen. Obviously, it's not within my power.
Yeah.
I'm passionate about video like you. So all I can do is share the stories, right? That's the impact at least I can make. I don't think I could go make a bigger impact.
Maybe one day. You never know.
Maybe one day, yeah, you never know. But I'm so glad you're here sharing this story, because there is this side to filmmaking where, obviously we all love cameras and filmmaking and audio or whatever we get intrigued by, but there's the other side of it, which is far more important, which is the stories.
Yeah.
And that's the end goal, is the storytelling, because that is what captures people like nothing else. A video can make people cry. It can make them laugh. It can smile. There's very few other mediums that can do that.
Yeah, the emotions.
And considering how easy it is to make it nowadays with everyone walking around with a cell phone, I think, we live in wonderful times. It's the way I see it, right?
And I feel like it's only getting better.
Yeah, and it's keep going to better, because guess what? Probably, I don't know. I'm just imagining 20 years later, phones that look better than current day, Red and Alexas or whatever, right?
Absolutely.
It's the power of every single person. That's
going to be in their pocket.
Yeah. Wow. So what got you into this whole camera thing? And I don't know. Like,
I grew up riding BMX. When I was doing that, my phone didn't even have a camera when I was first doing that. And then obviously, like, you get a flip phone and it's got a little dinky camera on there. And essentially, we had nothing to capture any of that. And I grew up and I was traveling from state to state, riding dirt, going down dirt hills, riding gigantic dirt jumps. And I was like, man, this would be cool to capture. Like, what if when I'm older, I want to show my kids this? And kind of hard to believe that I was thinking that far in the future at the time, but I ended up getting a camera and I started shooting. I had no idea, like, shooting auto, whatever. whatever came out of that camera I was getting, but it was way better than anything that my cell phone would capture. So that just turned into like a hobby, a passion, and I absolutely loved it. And all my buddies were like, this is the coolest thing ever. Then like MySpace became a thing. And it's like, yo, I need a new profile picture and like things like
You're
that.
aging
And
yourself over there. MySpace.
yeah, so that was a thing, and I just kept going. And then I think it was like 21. I was like, man, I need to grow up. I need to get a real job. Like cameras aren't paying me to do anything. And at this time, I'd kind of learned like the basics of shooting manual and stuff like that. But I was like, not getting paid. I get a job, sales job. I don't know how much, maybe a year or two longer. I was like, this is the worst thing in the world. I feel scummy. Like I feel like I'm lying to people to try to get them to buy something so I can make money. And so the dealership can make money. And I was like, this isn't for me. And I saved my tax return when I still got money. And I was like, I'm going to buy a camera and just see what happens. And so I got the camera and I stayed with that sales job for a little bit longer. And then my boss was essentially like, hey, you're really terrible at what you do. And I was like, you're correct. Let me shoot photos for you or something like that. And so I ended up shooting photos of all the inventory of the store. This was probably 15 years ago. And that turned into essentially where I'm at now. I shoot for his dealership. I shoot for another dealership. At one point I had 3, then COVID came, it stopped production. So that kind of messed everything up for a while. I went back down to 1. And then I was like, man, I'm shooting all these dealerships. And I was like triple dipping. I was shooting them all in one day, 2 hours at one store, 2 hours at another, 2 hours at another store. I'd take all that stuff and then I'd go home and edit it. And I'd have it up like the next day. They loved it. Making killer money. At that point, with COVID ruining it, I was like, man, I got to kind of outsource. I started posting more on social media and people were like, hey, dude, will you shoot for us? Or will you create this for us? Or come shoot my family or whatever, photos, video. And I was like, yeah, sure. And then I was like, I think I can really make something here. And I just started pushing it and pushing it and pushing it, posting it, telling my friends like, hey, if you need something, I got you. And 15 years later, I'm making roughly $100,000, a little bit over that. And I work 5 days a week and I'm absolutely loving every single day I go to work. All my retainer clients that I do work for, it's the best day ever going to work. I don't know what I'm going to do. And it's different and it's fun. And I can't think of a day where I'm like, man, this job sucks. I love every minute of it. And I will say the downside to this is now when I am off work, I want to spend more time with my family, spend more time with my kid. And so my kind of like the passion to just go out and shoot myself it's kind of gone down, knowing that I don't want to touch my camera. I don't want to be in my office. Like this setup that you have here is incredible. Having something like this maybe would push me to doing it. But again, I'm still away from my family, even though I'm one door away.
Yeah.
So yeah, but anyway, that's how I got started into it. And I love doing it. I love picking up extra gigs. I love working with new people. I love absorbing. I love watching how other people do their job. I'm like, oh, that's weird. I never thought of doing it like that. And just the whole job, it's different every day. And I think anyone that's ever touched a camera, I hope that they can get to some sort of level to where they love it like I love it. And you obviously love it.
Yeah.
I was going to say,
I live and breathe video.
Yeah, I was going to say, you guys can't see this garage, but this garage is insane, along with his massive truck full of I feel like you got a B&H out there.
Probably. I feel like half of it is here.
I was going to say, that is a serious truck.
But yeah, but you know, I want to bring it back though. I think what you said is incredible, and you will find how many people I've met, you know, over the years. This is a very common thread, and I find an outsider because I didn't start like that, but like so many people started in video because they just were passionate about skateboarding or BMX or some kind of sport, and all they wanted to do was just share that with the rest of the world or their buddies or whoever, and that got them somehow into video. So they weren't even looking for video; they were just doing what they were just passionate about. So you have a very similar story to a lot of creators actually out there, and that's incredible that little journey got you to here where you are you're technically successful. You're making six figures, which again, I don't think it's that important, but that's what people care about when they're starting out, right?
That's one of the reasons I mentioned that.
Exactly, yeah. So because to people that is important. So you're making six figures. You're independent. You have time to spend with your family. You're shooting cool things, but you're somewhat independent. As if you don't have a boss, right? Which is incredible. I mean, that is the American dream, isn't it?
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
So that's crazy that it starts from a little, passion or your love for BMX that leads to a life like this.
Yeah, no, 100%. And if I had not done that when I was younger, I don't know if I would have done this now. And it's kind of crazy because I just got a reminder. Are you familiar with Photo Bucket by chance? Do you know what that is?
Like a stock photo, right? Is that what I'm thinking, or am I?
Photo Bucket was like I almost want to say like kind of like a Dropbox, but way back in the day, you would upload your photos to that, and that's where you could store them, and then you could show people, and people can see your Photo Bucket and stuff like that. And I just got like a reminder, like, hey, your Photo Bucket's about to be deleted unless you'd like to pay X amount of dollars. Like, dude, I forgot I had that, and then I went on it and I found some gems. It's like, no way, I cannot believe these are still here. Yeah. So I have some of those old photos in my phone, and yeah, that's another timely thing. I know some of you will probably know what I'm talking about, especially if you're a photo guy back in the day.
So, yeah, that's incredible though. So like that you've been creating content this long, and again, it seems like you've been in this area the 15 years that you're saying.
Born and raised.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah, and I've been here since 2010, and we've somehow didn't cross paths until what? At least physical, I think in person until David came along and started doing these meetups.
Yeah, David.
And that's incredible. You know, like that we're in the same town creating content, and our paths didn't cross until another filmmaker, started doing these meetups. Yeah. And it was like, oh, wow, this is incredible that, you've been on this journey, I've been on this journey, and we're somehow in the same town creating content and just trying to be independent. That's my goal. Because, we talked a little bit, but like I was just always passionate about video. But I just didn't know, and again, silly me now. I was always into YouTube. I should have started a channel, but forget that. I was just like cameras and technology and all that. But I had to have job on the side, right? Because that's just how you pay bills. And then eventually, and one day, you just go, okay, I got to follow my passion, and it was the best decision ever because what happened, right? But that leap of faith was really hard to take because then you get comfortable, right? You're like, at least for me, I was like, oh, I have insurance, right? I've got kid at that point. I'm like, crap, do I want to just leave everything behind and start this production thing? And then you have all these voices around you like, I don't think this is not real job. You're not going to make enough. Or
that was the biggest pushback from like family and stuff. They're pretty much saying like, listen, you can't do that. Like, you're not going to make it. And at the time I was making, it was like $2,000 a month. But when I was 21, 22, and I was working a couple days a week, actually, I think it was only 2. The rest of those days I was going out doing stuff, having fun with my friends or going riding bikes or doing whatever I wanted. And then it was like, man, I could make more money if I just applied myself and worked Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, Saturday, Sunday, if I really wanted to. And then it just took off. And now I've got 4 retainer clients, and I pick up side gigs. That's how I actually met David, was through another person that hires guys, and we ended up crossing paths, working together on the same set. And then our buddy JD, he's like, hey, you should go to this video maker meetup thing. And that's when I went to the first one with David. And I met all these other guys like, wow, this is really cool. There's other people out there that are into this like I am. I didn't know anybody at the time. You should just see your YouTube guys. And like, are you guys being real? Or are you guys being fake? Or a little bit of both, whatever. And I was like, this is the coolest like thing I could go to and listen to people just talk about cameras and something that I love more than anything.
Exactly. And for me, it's like, again, it's the information. The problem in this field, at least I found, is there's too much noise, right? There's so many people who don't know what they're talking about it, and then the people who are successful, who have the knowledge, are happy to talk about it, but you need to somehow separate the noise from this important information that you wish you could have, and because I'd rather learn from people who've already been where I want to be.
That's what I'm trying to do.
Yeah, exactly. Then be around people. What I'm saying is, I don't want to. like if somebody's like, oh, this is how you get a successful business, but they've never had a successful business, I'm like, and they may be right, but I'm like, do I want to waste a year of my life
Yeah.
experimenting, or do I want to already talk to somebody who's like, hey, I built 3 businesses, I got X amount of revenue, I sold the business for whatever, and I'm like, okay, please tell me, right? And that was my idea. It's like to meet people like you, and I'm like, I wish I had these conversation, I don't know, 8 years ago, and maybe I would have applied myself better. I would have quit earlier, and I would have hopefully left that miserable job
Yeah, no,
years
absolutely.
before, right?
Yeah.
And so hopefully somebody gets even a little bit out of this, but that's exactly what I'm talking about, man.
I'm really glad we're talking about
Yeah,
this.
exactly, because this is what it's about. It's about doing that American dream, which is freedom,
Yeah.
which is because again, literally my last podcast, we talked about the same thing, like how we're trained to be worker bees, and though the American principle is of entrepreneurship and freedom, and but I feel like our schools are just trying to put us in jobs.
100%.
So we need to fight that, and we need to get out and be Americans, be independent and be our own bosses. And video is an incredible,
Yeah.
I would say avenue if you're passionate about it. I wouldn't go into this just to make money. You could, but then it'll be a miserable life because you have to love.
I was going to say, I think
creating
you'd be
content.
miserable doing it because
Yeah.
at that point, it's now just a job. It's not something you love.
Exactly.
And anyone can go do a job that you don't love.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Then it becomes the same
Yeah,
thing
yeah.
as the
Yeah.
other thing. But yeah, if you're passionate about it and you love creating or telling stories or whatever, you can make money because the other common thread is, and tell me if all these people that you met, you've heard it, where it's like, oh, I love this, I want to do this, but I don't know how to make, the hypothetical 6 figures or whatever that I want to make.
Yeah, no, that does happen. You do hear people talking about it. And sometimes it's also hard to tell people like, oh, we'll go do this.
Mhm.
But because it worked for me doesn't mean it's going to work for them.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, that's, I would say, something hard for some people to swallow because they see what I'm doing. Like, dude, that's easy. Anyone can do that. Like, you're right. And I got lucky. I got in the position to where I am doing it.
Mhm.
You go try it.
Yeah.
One of the buddies that's been to some of the meetings, he's trying to do it. I've been trying to help him do it. He's just, the people that he's, I guess, going after aren't biting just yet.
Yeah.
However, he did just land a pretty cool retainer client that I put him on. And they came to me and I was like, I can't. Like, I'm booked Monday through Friday. I don't want to take any more work on.
Yeah.
Like, my work to life ratio is literally perfect. But I got a buddy.
Yeah.
And I would not have met that buddy if it wasn't for this network stuff.
That's
and
awesome.
so now we're good. He's actually worked for you. I saw
Really?
I Emmanuel.
Which one, Taurus?
Think Taurus, yeah.
Oh wow,
Yeah.
I'm gonna have it on the podcast in a few weeks. So that's pretty
So-
exciting. Yeah,
So if you mention that, he'll probably bring it up. He was just in Colorado with them. Like, he's
incredible guy.
from what
yeah,
from what he's told me, he's loving it. And
Oh, wow.
knowing that the person that he's working for now, what I know of them and how much fun they seem,
Mhm.
the fact that they got linked up, I'm super excited for
Yeah.
him. I actually almost quit one of my retainers to go work for this person,
Mhm.
but I was like, no, everything's perfect right now. Like, I don't want to mess anything up. So, hey, Emmanuel,
Yeah,
meet this guy. And
exactly,
They linked
yeah.
up, and so now they're together. I know he moved from, I think it was Lakeland over
Okay.
here, not really knowing a whole lot of
Mhm.
people. And I was like, dude, I'll help you out. I'll send you whatever I can. If I can't take it, it's going to you. And he seems to be doing absolutely killing it. And I'm loving that for him. So
that's awesome, and that's really great of you. And that's what I'm talking about. See, this is the power of networking,
yeah,
and this is power of giving. Like I've said this, I feel like I'm repeating myself so much, but I've said this so much ever since I started telling people what I was doing that was getting me success. I started getting more success.
Yeah.
So find people who are like willing to give.
Yeah.
Always get it back. It's never you need to get, if anyone's listening, and if I can even help one person, you need to get out of this mindset of, oh, what if they'll take my client or they'll steal some money of me or some job from me. I'm telling you,
there's enough of it for all of us.
everyone needs a business. Every business needs a video. Video is so much work out there, and but the thing is that it's a mindset change. You got to learn to give. You got to learn to share what you know, and then guess what? You'll notice most people are great on the other side, and they'll be happy to share back. So this story is incredible, where you guys met through this networking, and you're like, hey, my plate's full, but here, let me help you get this retainer client.
Yeah,
so you
help homie
can
out.
now get
Absolutely.
where I am. and that's what it's about. And I'm telling you, in my experience, it'll come back in some way or the other.
Yeah.
You know, eventually, and that I think that's what that's about.
One day
I love it, man.
One day he'll be sending me jobs.
Exactly.
And or hey,
Hopefully,
I need a second shooter. And even if he doesn't, it is what it is. Like, I'm happy that he got it versus just some random guy that we both don't know. And I know that the client is now going to be happy because they're with Emmanuel, and
somebody we know is going to do a great job.
Yeah,
So
that's
that
perfect.
also matters.
Yeah, that's perfect. Yeah, so
that's amazing, man. Like things that I didn't even know. Like we met, and I'm like, oh, I didn't know. Like I know Emmanuel, but I didn't know that you got him a client. So that's incredible. I took him to Vegas like a couple times on as a photographer. Yeah,
I saw that you shared a photo because I remember you saying something like you don't really share a whole lot on your Instagram.
I need to.
And so I went and looked, and then I was like, there's my homie. I was like, check that out. And so.
Yeah, dude, I have a story to tell you. I don't know if he's gonna like Mr. My first experience with him is crazy. So so I had this client a year or two ago. We were doing their events like every quarter or whatever, and I had a photographer, great guy, nothing against it, but you know, he was not in the budget. So I was looking for a little less money but same qualities, and obviously through David's networking, I'd met Emmanuel.
Yeah.
So I was like, hey, look, I'll take you to Vegas. Food is provided, hotels provided. This is the rate. You know, I don't think it's a bad rate, but it's not like really, really high either.
Yeah.
All I want is you to just take some photos. You know, it's an event. Make them look good. And he was obviously all for it. So I'm like excited, you know, but
it's experience. It's fun.
But guess what happens? So now, you know, he was supposed to come to my home to save on parking at the airport. So we were gonna ride to the airport together. And now here comes time to leave, and there's no Emmanuel. So I'm calling, and then they'd go into voicemail. And I called the other Emmanuel because we had Emmanuel Gallegos. Sorry for the wrong pronunciation, but he was gonna come, you know, to it. So I'm calling him and was like, "Hey, do you know where Emmanuel is?" He's like, "I'm at the airport." I meant the other Emmanuel, not you.
Yeah.
So he's like, "I don't know." I'm like, "This is because you know I can't." Video, sure, I can replace with 4 other guys. I'm like, I don't have photo equipment on me. I'm bringing all the video equipment. He's bringing the photo equipment.
Yeah,
that's how the deal is.
Yeah.
I'm like, I can't just replace him on like a video guy I could at least replace. So anyway, I'm like panicking. So at some 30 minutes or later, I'm like, okay, like we're waiting. I'm like, okay, we don't want to miss our flight. So we're like, we gotta go. So now we're driving to the airport, and I'm panicking. I'm like, where are you? So he freaking messaged. At least he was honest. He was great. He's like, dude, I just overslept or whatever. I don't know. So I'm like, hey, I don't care. Show up to the airport like now. Anyway, it was hilarious. So and then I was like, okay, maybe he'll be there. So we check our bags and whatever.
He's not like this anymore, guys.
No, he's great. He's great. Like I said, I rehired him. So there's a positive end to the story.
Yeah.
But no, and then what was it? So yeah, no, we're on the plane, and he's still not there. He's like, obviously, he's saying, I'm on his way. I'm at the airport. Then security lines are crazy, obviously. Orlando.
Of course. TSA
exactly. Yeah. Yeah, he didn't have pre-checks. He had to get clear. Oh my goodness. Point is, now we're on the plane, right? And there's no doors. And I'm like, slowly, and people can see my heart is like singing. I'm like, crap. This is a good client, so I can't just screw them over. Like I have to. Yeah. I'm gonna deliver what I promised, whatever I would have had to do at that point. But anyway, last person on the plane walking finally towards that made, I was like, thank goodness. You had no idea the relief that sat in I saw his face. But again, not to go to the positive side, this is a crazy story, but he delivered. The photos were awesome, and what I liked about him was he was upfront. He was like, "Hey, this is not a normal thing. This is just a one-off. It happens." And I'm like, "Yeah, you know, it's okay."
It does.
And the good thing is, I took him to Vegas second time. I still give him a hard time because the next time he went, I was like, "Okay, so for you got to come 30 minutes earlier than everyone, so we know you'll be there."
Yeah.
He's like, "You're never gonna let this go." I'm like, "No." And now this is public. There you go. Yeah. So the photos were incredible, and to me, what mattered was the client loved the photos.
That's what matters.
And
that's what matters.
He was fun to hang out with outside of work. You know, and I've hired him a bunch of times after that. I think just this past year we did like an event. He did a cam op for me. So which is funny because you know we also, and that's a mistake of me. I then pigeonholed him in my brain as photographer, right? So I've hired him a bunch of time.
Yeah, and
I forget that he can do.
He
cam
does
op
do
too.
video. He does some good stuff.
Yeah, exactly. Too. So I needed a cam op for like a live event or whatever, and that's where This last year he helped me. So
That was our first gig together. Was
really?
live event.
Okay,
Yeah,
that's awesome. So
where-
yeah, so I was like, I gotta stop doing that for people, like pigeonholing him into the what I hired them for.
yeah.
And he did incredible work there. I have nothing to say about it. So no, great guy.
That's what I thought too.
But that's a funny story. But normally, yeah, I would not hire somebody who did that to me. But look, he made it. He did great work, and he was upfront about what happened. I don't
Yeah.
like bullshitters. You know, I knew exactly when he said it, like he was genuine. This happens, and he made it. You know, that was the main thing. You
I
know?
remember at the meeting you were like, if you're late, like you're out. You're not getting hired ever again.
Yeah,
so
no.
as soon as you said that, I was like, dang, he got a second chance.
Because he made it. See, he was late, but he was on the plane.
I was gonna say, as long as you're on the plane late or not, he's there. Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah, he's gonna hate me for telling this story. No, he's a great guy. Please don't.
Emmanuel, I'm
hesitate to
sure you
hire
don't
him.
watch this. Maybe one day you'll stop ignoring my phone calls. We can go get a beer sometime.
Exactly. Yeah, and then. Anyway, so yeah, but no, this is incredible, man. That we have common people, and you're helping and sharing. And what I want to know is now that let's talk to the meat that people want to know, or at least I want to know about, is retainer clients. That's
Yeah.
like the key to success in video. Because I've said this 1,000 times, I'll say it again. Nobody who's successful in video gets 50 new clients every year. It's just impossible.
Yeah.
The easiest thing is to keep the clients that you have.
And keep them
let them
happy.
keep coming them, keep them happy. So you
Yeah.
clearly are doing that. And so what's your strategy? How do you do that? And B, I want to know how you structure your retainers.
Okay. We'll start with A because B is going to be atrocious. That was how do I keep the retainers,
Yeah.
correct? So the few retainers that I have, which started with the one, it was pretty much, hey, come shoot my inventory, get it done, get it up. Don't make me babysit. I'll be happy. Easy peasy. Shoot some units, get them on the internet, bada bing, bada boom, I'm done. He's happy. That turned into some other stuff. I've now taken on more roles, and now he pays me more money. And same thing. I show up when I need to, or when I want, essentially. I don't want to say need to, because he's pretty lenient. As long as he doesn't have to babysit and everything's done, he doesn't care. 2 days a week. Actually, today he just, for the first time in, I almost want to say probably a year, made a request like, hey, can we start doing more video work? And I said, absolutely. I've been trying to, and I'm here for it. So my other guys, they're in the same boat. As long as I'm there and I'm doing the work and they don't have to babysit, they don't have to monitor their social media, because I do share the stuff that I create for them on their social media so they don't have to worry about it. And they don't care what it looks like, how it comes, like what it's shot on, as long as it obviously doesn't look terrible. Anyone can shoot from an iPhone.
Yeah.
We were kind of already speaking
Exactly,
about that. Like in a couple of years, that's what a lot of
even
people are
now,
gonna be doing.
camera iPhones are so good.
Yeah.
The visuals are not an issue.
So-
Perception may be different, but
Correct.
but,
Yeah,
but
yeah.
not on social media content. I think that may
Correct.
not even be
Yep.
an issue there. Yeah.
So with the Power Sports dealership, I shoot with a Sony A7 IV. Everything's easy peasy. They're all happy. Sometimes he'll be like, hey, I want to do this. And he's like, don't bring all your lights. I don't need none of that bullshit. He's like, just shoot it. He's like, don't make your life hard. Just shoot it. And I said, okay, cool. You're happy. I'm happy. And then my other retainer clients, they're exactly the same. They're like, we don't care what you shoot it on. You can shoot it with a potato. As long as it's done, it looks good, and it's turned in a timely manner, we're good with it. And I just watched David Moorfield's YouTube, and he's shot on an iPhone and like with the little 4 transmitters. And I was like, dude, I feel like you're doing exactly what I'm doing. You got a retainer, I got a retainer. And my one general contractor that I have, he doesn't care. He's like, you can shoot it on a cell phone. If I can have it up same day, I'm here for it. So honestly, I've been shooting a lot on a DJI Pocket 3, and then
The Osmo.
yeah, dude,
Yeah. That thing looks incredible.
I'm surprised I don't actually have it in my pocket. I usually carry it everywhere. The amount of money I've made from that thing is insane. And for anyone to say like, oh, well, you have that job because you have a nice camera. I make a lot of money literally on an iPhone and on a DJI Pocket 3. Anyone can afford a DJI Pocket 3.
Yeah.
And I keep getting on tangents. As long as my clients are cool, fun, and I don't want to say entertaining, but they do keep me entertained. They don't care what I'm doing as long as everything is up it looks good.
Mhm.
And I guess in a timely fashion, whether it's an iPhone or an A7S3, FX3, FX6, whatever you want to shoot on.
Mhm.
Uh, I feel like I got weird on that one.
No, that's
But
okay. I mean, I completely get it. What you mean? What I'm curious about is so it seems, which is great. That's what we want, right? We want a
Yeah.
client who says, "Hey, look, I want content. Here's the 2 days you're gonna come or whatever, and you're gonna make the content. You're gonna post the content like freedom." Again, when I
Yeah.
talk about that's amazing. Now let's talk about the real thing. You can't really put that in a contract. Hey, do whatever on Mondays and Tuesdays, and I'll pay you this much.
Yeah.
So how are you structuring these retainers for how long, and what are the deliverables, at least legally in your contract, or do you even have a contract?
I was gonna say, so when I was messaging you on Instagram yesterday, it was like I feel like I'm not doing it right because I learned from YouTube. I learned just from like watching other people do it. I didn't have really a mentor.
Yeah.
So all of my jobs, they're like gentleman's agreement essentially. Like, hey, I'm gonna come in 2 days a week, 2 hours at a piece. Whether I have a contract or not, I feel like they could let me go tomorrow. And I don't have the money to fight somebody like, hey, like agreement breach, like you got to pay me at least the rest of this month. I mean, I can't say that I don't have the money to do that.
I'm not a lawyer, but yes, you can.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah.
It's just more
Kill
like
fees are a real thing, just so you know.
I was like, if you're gonna crush it, and I'm not gonna be here next month, like, hey, just let me know. Like, we're cool, and I'm now good friends with all of my clients that I work with. I play hockey with 2 of them. One of them is now a good friend. That was my power sports guy, and it's just kind of a gentleman's thing. And every now and then I ask for a little bit more money, and so far I haven't got any kickbacks. They've all been good with it. I'm not asking for the moon. It's just like, hey, if you want this, I want to charge you an extra $500, and $500 added to the monthly whatever you're paying me. It all adds up, and it's easy, and I feel like I'm not asking for a lot. So.
No, that's very fair. And again, you don't need to go into exact numbers. Feel free to either round it up or just tell me if you don't want to tell me. But what I'm curious about is, so sounds like so far you obviously you're friends with them, so it's like very easy. Now you are. And it's just gentleman's agreement, like a handshake. You don't have anything unwritten. You go 2 days a week for one of them. And
or two of those, and one day for one,
and then 1 day for one. So how do you charge like payments? Do you have automatic recurring payments, and roughly what you're able to charge? And do you have a given, like you have to make this much deliverables? How are they valuing you at whatever that price point is?
So I don't have a deliverable. There's no agreement on actual deliverables for any of them. For example, my general contractor, if we go out looking for a couch for his mother's house, which we've done, we record absolutely nothing. He's like, dude, we got literally nothing done today. He's like, that's not on you. That's me. Poor management on myself. I'll see you next week. And he pays me because I came out there. It's essentially he's paying for my time.
Yeah.
Now there are days where I'll shoot headshots for the guys in his company, and we'll shoot like a little commercial or whatever. And that obviously would normally make someone money if it was like a day rate type job. Let's say $800 for the day.
Yeah.
$1,200, whatever you charge. I'm fortunate enough to where I can go week to week knowing that I'm going to make, so I $600. That's what I charge. And it's week to week, every week, $600, whether we're going on a trip, we're going to Costa Rica, we're going to Vegas, which we're both going to Vegas, January 19th. We're going to SHOT Show.
Oh,
I'm getting
where
paid.
I wish I was going.
I'm getting paid to go do that. And
that's so cool.
Yeah, everything's getting paid for. And I'm actually kind of double dipping because one of my other retainer clients is sending me there because I work for a gun company, and they're sending me there to record content for them. So I get to go to the range day. I'm not a huge gun guy, for the record. I love guns, but I don't know much about them.
Yeah.
I guess the range day, all the big like
I know all about them, but that's not the topic. But let's go. Yeah.
We all get to go shoot them outside, I guess, and supposedly it's pretty badass. And you have to be super high in the industry to go to this actual range day and shoot everybody's brand new guns they're about to release like the following day. So I'm gonna go do that, and then it'll be inside wherever we are. I guess this is like the biggest gun convention in the States.
Yeah.
Maybe you know that.
Yeah.
So I get to do that, and then I hired my buddy as a grip, who's my general contractor. So it's funny, he's going to be working for me, but I'm going to shoot a little bit of content for him too. So now I'm going to double dip on both of them, and I'm going to make money from one, make money from the other. and I continue to get paid while my trip's getting paid for. I'm going to eat like a king. We've already locked in some really cool restaurant things that we're going to go do, some really unhealthy burritos that I'm super excited for. And
see, what's crazy is, sure, in one way, you, like you said, you don't understand business, or you don't have any of the structures that I would say you need to have.
Yeah.
But on the other side, you're doing it like a business owner, because you're like, hey, look, I'm gonna double dip here.
you got to maximize opportunity.
So you're still maximizing your ROI, and you're doing the correct things. And like you said, somebody's paying for your travel, somebody's paying for your food, somebody's gonna pay for your lodging, and you're gonna create content, and you get to go to a cool show. I mean, Vegas has all the cool shows I want to go to, but nobody's willing to pay me to go to like CES, NAB.
I'll get you next year.
Show. There you go.
I'll get you next year.
There you go. I'll come with you. There you go. I'll be your grip.
My PA, whatever.
Yeah, exactly. I'll come. Yeah. But no, that's incredible. So, I mean, at least the business sense is there. That's why you're successful. It doesn't have to be the typical that people say. At the end of the day, you're running a successful business and you're doing all the right things, clearly. But it seems like it's also you're having fun doing it.
Absolutely.
Yeah, so
I'm making it day by day the most unorganized way possible, but I'm learning from mistakes. Definitely learning from mistakes this year, especially taxes are going to kick me in the butt pretty hard. I do have an LLC. Like, I am legit. I have insurance. I strongly recommend anyone that has an LLC to have insurance. If you step foot on anywhere where you're shooting, you should have insurance, because if something small happens or huge happens, at least you're covered. I know when I first started, if I didn't have the insurance and someone did get hurt, I would have been absolutely screwed. But
exactly,
I do have that. It's relatively cheap for what it is and your coverage. I'm super excited for SHOT Show. And then following that, we're going to Costa Rica in February, and that's going to be with my general contractor. We're going to go create more content over there. We're going to go look for buildings, and we're going to show some stuff off, like, hey, look how terrible this is, and this is what we would do. Or, hey, like, look how awesome this is, and it's cheaper over here because whatever he wants to shoot.
Yeah, just
I don't
make
care.
content, yeah.
I'm going to shoot it on my Pocket 3, and I'm going to have it up that day, and he's going to be happier than ever. We're going to go ride dirt bikes and rip side-by-sides, and then it's going to be awesome.
You know what's so amazing about this conversation that we're having? We're so similar in the way, like, I feel the passion for you about making content, telling stories, but the approach is completely different. You saying I'm gonna take the Pocket 3, I'm gonna post it the same day. It's just like gives me like chills. I'm like, no, I need to have my lighting, my sound, my girl. Like I gotta get everything right. So it's like, like I don't know. I can't even. To be real, we've done same day edits for conferences.
I'm sure.
We edit. But what I'm saying is, like, this idea of taking the Pocket 3, recording it, and posting it, it's very same day. It's just,
I am going to bring my A7 III setup.
But I was like, that's so contrast to where what I would do. But again, that's paying. This is the idea that, look, there's not just one way, right?
Correct. You don't got to have all this. Granted, I do have a lot of this, and I do jobs like this. But each client is different. Each client is different. Some don't care about that. They just want something that they know is going to look better than what they can provide, and they want it now. And I'm able to do that. Most other people are able to do that. It's just,
but that's the story I think you have right now, is that basically with just your phone, maybe a Pocket 3, which is not that expensive of a camera, you can go out there and make a living, and make a good living at that. And that's incredible. And that's the same thing. Like I said, we're doing the same thing, but that's just an alternate way of doing it, where I think you're making better profit because you have barely any expenses, which is why IRS is not going to like you. IRS is like, I can go like, this is expense, that's an expense, that's an expense. You have like Pocket 3.
Oh, so, I do have a good amount of expenses, but yes, I mean, comparatively speaking, yes, my expenses are next to nothing compared to a lot of other people.
Yeah, but the competitive advantage there is, like, again, I don't know the exact numbers, but like $200K for me, or anyone else may only be worth $100K for you, because if our expenses are that much higher, we need to make double, triple, or whatever to make what you're making and have the same lifestyle, right?
Yeah, not over here.
Exactly.
I'm making $100,000 and doing well with $100,000.
Exactly. So that's incredible. That's what I'm saying. Wow. And hopefully one person takes your approach and
I'm speaking at a school on the 8th, and so today's the 3rd. speaking to a school, and my main objective is to find, not necessarily to find that, I don't want to say loser punk rock skater kid like I was, but like I hope that I can connect with one kid throughout the whole day. If it's just one, to prove that someone like myself and hopefully someone like him, whether they're making A's and B's, C's and D's, whatever, there's other alternatives than going to college or going to the military or I don't want to say a trade school, but I think trade schools are the better alternative than most of those other options. But yeah, just a camera, a passion. You can make money doing it if you apply yourself. And I think I'm a very good example. And you don't got to know how to do anything. And I feel like I don't know how to do a lot, but I'm making it work every day and learning by mistakes. And I try not to repeat them. And here I am, and now I'm on a really cool podcast.
Well, thank you.
Talking about people that are doing big stuff. Yeah.
No, but that's like I said, I'm already like really excited to hear everything you've said so far because it's so incredible, but at the same time so different than the path that I've been on. But that's crazy. But you speak about it. I know it's a little tangent, not on the topic that we're talking about, but you're right about like trades, like. In this country right now, man, if you just went to trade school, you can come out already making six figures better than us video people because you don't even need to do all the learning and the education, all that. You just learn that one trade because the demand, at least in Florida, for like HVAC techs is so high. Yeah.
What's crazy?
It's crazy. Yeah.
I accidentally got put in HVAC class in high school, and I thought it was supposed to be something else that I signed up for. I got there and I was like, what the hell is HVAC? And I was like, I thought this was, I don't know, pottery, whatever the hell it was. They're like, oh yeah, you're gonna learn AC, cooling, and heat, and all that stuff. I was like, I have zero interest in that. Like, get me out of this. And I went and spoke to the counselor, and I got out of it. Shoot me in the foot.
Non-flow. Yeah,
I would have been doing great now, but granted, I love what I do now, and I'm happy that I did get out of that.
Exactly. But you know, like so many builders that I work with, like same thing. They can't find good people, reliable, good people in HVAC. So if somebody right now just went out and went to trade school, whatever, and got really good at it and were reliable and good. Yeah. They could make a killer in Florida. None of this camera BS that we have to do. So it's incredible. I'm saying a lot of opportunities out there. So there's lots of ways to make money. You just have to do it. That's what it comes down to, right?
Yeah, you have to. You just got to go for it.
You got to apply yourself. So that's awesome. So what's next for you? Seems like I think you got locked in. So do you just want to coast, or do you want to do something different, or what are you wanting to do next?
I just want to keep doing fun shit.
Yeah. No. More power sports guys, please, huh?
That's actually my new retainer. I just picked up another one, which is actually funny that I'm working for him because it is actually a retainer client that I had before the COVID. He moved away to Texas or something like that, and he came back, and now he's working at another location. Their store has nothing, like no content, no anything. There's not even any bikes on their website. Like, how do you sell bikes that don't exist? They just look like stock images. When you buy a car, maybe not your truck or van. Sorry, don't want to. Yeah. But you want to see an actual picture of it. And when clients come, hey, I see you have this whatever bike and it looks great. I see you're not trying to hide anything. Everything's super high detail. I don't even need to come see it. Can I buy it and send it to Georgia? That happens all the time. He hit me up and he's like, hey, come be my guy. And I was like, I'm 100% in. But out of professionalism, I did need to speak to my other dealership.
Yeah, make sure they're okay with it. Yeah.
Typically, it was like, hey, if they don't sell the same product and they're not the store right behind their store, like, I'm good with it. Well, this location sells one of their big brands. They clash. They're 20 miles from each other. They're competitors. I told my boss, hey, if he doesn't hire me, I'm going to send someone else. And it was actually Emmanuel. And I was like, the same job's going to get done, but you're essentially taking money out of my pocket. Why not let me go do that? It's not going to change our work relationship. I'm still going to get my same job done here. And I got the green light. So
that's
now
awesome.
I'm working at both. So I'm excited.
That's incredible. And then that's really nice of your boss. Some people do get gung-ho on, no, but I'm like you said, it's going to get done. Yeah. Why take money from your pocket?
Exactly.
Yeah.
And
but at the same time, I'm pretty sure you are professional enough. You would have respected if he had said no, you wouldn't have done it, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So at least
When I first
yeah.
branched out, I didn't actually tell him, and then I did tell him,
Mm-hmm.
and he actually fired me on the spot.
Okay.
And I didn't think about
When was
it
that? Long time ago? Or?
right before, right? Yeah, it was before COVID. That's
Okay,
when,
yeah.
so that's when I got the second dealership.
Mhm.
And I didn't think much of it. I was like, oh, I'm just shooting more power sports. Like, whatever, cool. I'm going to double my money, work the same day. And then I told him, and he's like, you're not being serious. And I was like, no, I am. And he's like, dude, he's like, you can't work here anymore. And I was like, all right, that's funny. What are we doing for lunch? And he's like, no, he's like, dude, I'm gonna walk you out. And he legit walked me out. And I was like, holy cow, like you're being serious.
Mhm.
I left, and thankfully, I don't know if it was like a week or 2 weeks later, he's like, hey, he's like, I want you to come back. And I came back, and I guess he realized like, hey, no matter what, the same thing. Like they're gonna get their photos. Now
Yeah.
he doesn't have someone getting his photos. He doesn't want to train somebody to do
Yeah.
what I was doing. And realistically, I started because of him, and I felt terrible. Like,
Yeah.
I don't think he'll ever watch this, but like, I love that dude. He's done a lot for me. And yeah, so it was a lot to ask for this one. And he told me no originally. Then he was like, all right, you know what? It's like, they're going to do it. So just go send it. And I actually start Friday with them. So,
Well, congratulations
cool.
in a good way, but also, like I said, great on your other boss, I guess, or other client to be okay with that, because, like you said, at the end of the
Yeah.
day, but I'm my philosophy is simple as that. Like, you know, if it conflicts too much, I just don't do it. But if it's like you said, if it's just gonna get done, it's nothing that competitive.
Yeah.
You know, like, because you're making pictures of stuff that sells. They have that in the store. Like,
Correct. Yeah.
it's gonna get done. So
Yeah.
then, you know, but it is nice to ask your client, like,
Yeah.
hey, is that okay? Because at the end of the day, you don't want to create conflict. So
Correct.
So
and I
that's a good-
was willing to not take the new
Yeah.
job if he was genuinely didn't want me to do it. I was going to tell him like, hey, buddy, like I can't. And I would have sent the job to a friend, or hey, I have a buddy that will do it. I'll even train him. And thankfully, I just got the gig, and here I am, and still doing the same thing. And I'm going to start shooting for 2 dealerships, which is just going to make me more money, and I'm going to have more fun and keep doing
Exactly.
like I said, fun
Wow,
things.
man, this is freaking like. But I mean, I'm just happy that that you found this path and you found more work with sounds like what you enjoy, and you're doing it. So, wow. Okay, so what would you tell, like, if you could do something like it differently, how would you approach that now? Like, would you change anything, or you?
Like compared to what I'm doing, like what would I do different?
If you could change anything, what would you change?
Okay, so I'm learning now a lot about like the finance side of business and not cross mingling bank accounts. Actually, I learned this at the last one that we just had in Orlando. Just the light bulb clicked. I said something
At the
to David.
Quinton's meetup.
Yeah.
Okay, a few
Yep.
weeks ago, yeah.
I said something to David, and David was like, "Dude, you can't do that."
Yeah.
And then I spoke to my GC guy who helps me out with a lot of stuff.
Do you
and
have a CPA?
Yeah.
Okay, so yeah.
So I send, man, you want to talk about bad? I write everything like on your iPhone in the notes tab. Like I go through my Amazon list, I go through credit card statements, I add it in, I break it down, and then I actually throw that into ChatGPT and I say, hey, can you calculate this for me? And it calculates all of that money that I've spent.
Yeah.
I send that to him, and he's like, dude, he's like, you're really sending me like iPhone notes still? Like,
Wow.
bro, it's 2025 now. What are you doing?
QuickBooks or something.
Yeah.
Or Wave, it's free, I believe. Wave is,
I actually had QuickBooks for a year. I opened it once, like, nah, dude, no, that's where it's at. And so this year, my goal is to better that. I use my business card. I got an Amex travel card, or an Amex Platinum card, and an Amex Gold card. Platinum, I don't know if you have one, but like for the all the lounges and stuff.
Priority pass or whatever it comes with there, yeah.
I love traveling now, knowing that I can go into a lounge, get a massage, take a shower. Sometimes I don't even need a shower, but it's a free shower. It's an incredible shower. And then I go get a massage, and then I hop onto another flight for an hour or two. Like, dude, I'm living my best life. Most of the time you get to an airport, you hate your life. You hate dealing with the people. You get to your location, you're miserable and tired. You just want to go to sleep. I could go fly now and just start working if I really wanted to with that. But Yeah, I really need to focus on just one bank account, all business, and the business side, not pulling from both accounts, commingling. I think
Yeah,
that's
you
what they call
definitely
it.
don't want to do that.
Yeah.
Again, not any kind of advice over here, but yeah, my biggest thing also is the contract side of it. Nothing wrong with the handshake agreements, but the truth is, anyone in this country that will make money is lawyers.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
if you and you never again, ChatGPT is awesome. I use it all the time. I wouldn't use it for contracts. Get a real lawyer, because the thing is, there's some terms, again, not legal advice, but they can add like literally attorney's fees and kill fees and all these things in there, because what happens is, let's say your client doesn't pay you, you can take them, you could just call your attorney and they'll handle the rest, because their fees are in it. Like, you don't have to worry about it, because
They're going to take care of it.
yeah,
Essentially.
because they put it in the contract. If you build a good contract, right? They can put all that in there. Meaning, or if they like, we don't want you anymore, then there's kill fees they gotta pay or whatever. Or or like I said, that the one where it's like, oh, we don't have money anymore. It's like,
Yeah, sorry, buddy.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Then the attorney, and plus, otherwise, a lot of time what happens is when people go to ChatGPT or these websites, when they build the contract, it may just say, sure, you can go to small claims court and you can get your money back, but the attorney's fees might be, let's say they owed you $600,
Then it's not worth
and then
it.
10 grand for the attorney. You're like, not worth it.
That's what I was talking about earlier when I was
so
like, I don't have the money to deal with that, and that was really what I was meaning.
Yeah,
it's
so
not worth it.
And that's what I'm saying. You want an attorney who will build that in. That, hey, if we have to go to collections, that it's going to be, because most time an attorney calls and most people would pay. But I'm saying if they don't, then at least if you have to go to court, they also have to pay the attorney, so you are not coming out of pocket and you get paid what you deserve to be paid. So my thing is, I would highly recommend, and again, if it's working, don't destroy the relationship.
Yeah.
But contracts are incredible in this country. They're enforceable, and the attorneys that enforce them can build them in a way that hopefully you don't have to even spend attorney's fees, because the other party would pay for them. So I would highly recommend anyone doing this, just in the beginning, just start with contracts.
I wish I had done that.
Yeah, and maybe in the future, like I would highly suggest working with an attorney, because you want to build such a strong contract. Now it is a negotiation. I'm sure when you sign up, they may want some changes or whatever. I don't know. But that's part to negotiate. But the point is, if you have a good contract, and it protects them too. It's not just you. It says, hey, I'm going to minimum deliver. I'm going to come for 2 days. I'm going to X amount of deliverables. And obviously, just like I think you deliver more than what you probably will put in there. So
I do.
So you'd never have to worry about that, as long as you do what you say. But it protects them that, hey, we're going to get this for this money. If they don't get what they're paying you for, then they don't have to pay you. So it protects technically both of you. But I don't know. I would highly suggest, especially if anyone's starting this now, already start with a contract in place. Already start with the LLC. Already start with your QuickBooks or some kind of accounting software, because like
learn it out of the gate, and then you don't have to learn it later.
Years
and
later,
set.
and you don't have to fix the mistakes or whatever, or
because I feel like
get
an old,
back in order.
I guess I feel like an old dog. Like I don't want to learn anything new. Yeah. Like I know I have an idea of what I'm doing, and it seems to be working. Why change it? Mm-hmm. But when it comes to somehow possibly affecting my family, or my bank account and as a whole, I can't play that game. And,
no, exactly. And you learn. I would rather people not learn the hard way. Like for me, like long time ago when I first set up my business, and it's cool, like, oh, what's the name gonna be, or LLC, and you set that up, and then next thing you know, you're getting billed like you need to file this tax, and you're like, what? I just set up a name. It's like, no, it's a legal entity. So a lot of people, I learned it that way.
Yeah.
You do something. I didn't have any mentors or anyone initially, like I said, especially where it was like, oh no, you got to do it this way. I had to learn. It's like, oh, what is this bill for? What is this stupid tax? And then you have to Google it. You have to figure out. And then, the other ways are like, oh, what is this tax? Like, oh, what are you telling me they're going to charge 30% on my, income for X? I'm like, what is that for? Anyway, or you can write off miles. Oh, I wasn't recording them.
I do use Mile IQ
exactly.
Now.
Yeah. So it's like things like that, and so hopefully anyone, at least even I can help one person. Like you want to do this from day one.
Yeah.
So you're already far ahead of us.
Yeah. No, 100%.
Exactly right.
And you, or I believe you said you didn't have like somebody like what we're doing.
Yeah.
I didn't have one. It was just all learn. And
Yeah.
I think kids now, with the way YouTube is, you can literally find anything. Granted, obviously, you got to be careful with your YouTube heroes because sometimes they give the worst advice.
Exactly.
Like,
Yeah, you
what
gotta
are
be
you
very
saying?
careful with the advice. You can find gold though. In
No,
YouTube,
yeah, for sure. And not to plug David again, but seeing the raw, like day to day, what he's doing. And you got Jared Phelps in Texas, who I also met at one of the meets, which I believe that was the first time I saw you. I don't know. I think it was like a taco place. Either way, or maybe it was the rooftop bar. Either way, I met Jared as well, and Jared told me, he's like, yeah, I do like EA stuff, video games. I was like, what the
It's there in our house over here, yeah.
I was like, what the hell, video games?
But you didn't know about EA?
No, I had no idea that was even a thing. And
Oh wow, that's so crazy. Because I grew up, EA Sports. It's in the game.
Oh no, yeah, I knew that. Yeah. I grew up playing some video games. I still play today at 38, and I feel, I don't want to say like a loser, but I'm like, man, I got to put these things down. But yeah, when he said like, what are you shooting in video games? Like, what are you? And I'm not gonna talk bad about someone that does like Twitch streaming.
Yeah.
That's literally what I was thinking. And then I saw his Instagram. I was like, oh man, you're doing Halo and like you're doing the full like championship games. Like you are living what I want to be doing. Like that is incredible. I grew up on Halo, that LAN parties, like that was the coolest thing in the world to me. And then for this man to come in and say, or for that man to be doing that, I was like, dude, that's a childhood dream that you're living right now. And that's way cool.
That's awesome. Yeah. Right. And so I'm saying the paths that people can take is so crazy. Like,
yeah.
But again, if somebody told me, like, as a kid, I love playing video games, that hey, I can go make videos for video games or LAN parties or whatever and make money.
Yes.
And good money, better than a job.
Yes. Crazy.
Couldn't have even imagined. And but again, I think there's also a little bit of lottery in this because I would agree. Yeah, because it's there's one thing to first know, right? The second, I think it takes a special type of person because everyone can do it for 5 days, but you have to keep doing it, keep doing it. Like, for example, for the client, I think outreach is one of the most annoying things in the world, to just cold outreach, either by email or in person or whatever. And it's very hard. Like, most people will give up because, if it was that,
get a lot of no's.
Yeah, exactly. And most people just take it personal. If they're not saying no to you, what I'm saying is it takes a special type of person to be able to get through that. And then not only that, then you've all these factors, trying to put you down, or all this noise around you. So it's very difficult.
But also the pressure of landing one. If you do get one, then the pressure of like, man, I really got to impress this guy to lock that in.
Exactly.
So you can get it and do crap, and then they're never going to call you again. You've got to produce.
Exactly. So it comes down to, I think that's why I'm like, finally, I think it's the lottery aspect of it. For some reason, some people just aren't going to make it. I don't think it had anything to do with their skills and effort because, I don't know. That's what I've seen. Like, there's, I wouldn't say it's that much, but there is a little element of it. What do you think? Yeah,
I would agree 100%.
You have to have some luck.
Yeah, and there's people that are doing it that, and again, not to talk bad about anyone else living their life and they're making it, but there's people that put out some pretty terrible content and they're doing great. Yeah, they're absolutely crushing it, and their clients said, "No, this is my guy. I don't want to work with anyone else. Yeah. This is my guy." If you're that guy and you're making it, like, fantastic. And I think that is also a lot of luck and who in the networking world. It's just
that I will say. And to be honest, let's see, this is what I'm saying. I have two contrasting sides. There's a business side. There's a creative side of me. Yeah, creative side of me. When I look at terrible footage, I'm like, how can this person get paid to make this? But the truth is, what I've learned, and the way to make money is, all your clients care about is making money. I'm sure you'll say the same. If you're not selling. They're not getting rid of the equipment at the dealership. They're gonna let you go very quickly, even if you're friends, right?
Yeah.
At the end of the day, they keep you because what you do makes them money, right?
Yeah.
And that's more important than that your videos are pretty. And obviously, you're making pretty videos, which is good. But ultimately, what they care about is money. And sometimes, some people can make money without making pretty videos. Now I wish they were doing both, because I think you can do both. You can
Yeah.
make good videos
Yeah.
and still make the money.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, I'm saying a business owner will always choose somebody who makes the money over pretty videos. So sometimes I think that's also a thing where they've had a relationship where the videos work, it makes the
Yeah.
money, and somebody can come in and be like, look, my videos will be pretty. It's just not worth the risk.
Because
for
this guy's
them.
working.
Yeah, exactly.
This is working what we're doing
exactly.
now. Yeah. Why change it?
Exactly, because
Yeah.
all they would care about is making money, and they don't want to let this guy go or hurt his feelings or whatever. What's already working is
They don't want to go through that process.
Exactly,
It's
it's not worth
working.
it.
Why change it? And
Exactly.
I
It's unfortunate, and I'm saying all the filmmaker part of me is like, but it is what it is.
I'm that guy.
Really,
Like,
yeah.
yo, why are they hiring that dude?
Yeah, exactly. Because but what I've learned, again, the kindness part of this is what you can do is go find your 5 people that just want to work with
Yeah.
you, and you kill them with both, right? You give them not only content, but you give them the money that they need.
Yeah.
Because at the end of the day, like I said, that's all the king in the corporate and commercial world. They have to make money, and they'll pay you a portion of it. Simple as that. It's a give and take relationship. So if you're not gonna make the money, they're gonna let you go pretty fast.
Yeah. No, absolutely.
So I think the approach to me is better. Like, where you find your 5, you find your tribe, and don't worry about other people. Like, stop worrying about what everyone else has, what money they're making, who their clients are, what the content is. Now, it's one thing to do it educationally, because to me, the biggest thing that you can get to know is, here's what I charged, here's what the deliverables were, here's like how many people I got, and maybe my profit ratio. That type of information is actually valuable, because you could go like, hey, this is a 10 grand project. I had to deliver 3 videos, right? And my cost to produce them was, I don't know, 5 grand. So you could calculate, be like, okay, I could make 5 grand profit.
Yeah.
I could make it work. But if you don't have that information, if you're bidding against, let's say, me, and you don't know what I'm charging and what my deliverables are, then it's hard to compete, because you may be under, but if you're only delivering 1 video with 1 person, or
The value's not there.
exactly, even though you're lower, the client won't go with you. And I think that's the valuable information that could help. But outside of that, I don't think it matters what anyone else is doing, because at the
Yeah.
end of the day, you go to the client, you make the money, you make them awesome videos. They will, and as long as it's working,
I was gonna say,
they're not gonna go anywhere.
if it's working for them, they're in it.
Yeah,
So,
exactly.
yeah.
And that's simple. You just find your 5 or your 4, and you can make a killer living doing this.
Yeah.
So
That's what I'm doing now, and I love it. If one of mine, for whatever reason, decided like, hey, I think we're gonna go in a different direction, or I don't know, we don't want to do this anymore, we're gonna take a break, whatever. Cool. I'll take my loss. I'll try to find somebody else, and who knows where it'll be. Just obviously with this networking stuff, or okay, that opens up another day that I can say, hey guys, just so you know, like, if you need anybody, I'm available.
Yeah.
Every Saturday, Sunday, Monday. If you got a gig, you need another shooter, let me know. Or you can't make it, you need to send somebody. I'm your guy. Let me know. Currently,
you're busy,
I'm
which
busy.
is good. I mean, that's the best thing
Yeah.
as a video
Yeah.
video person you can say is, I don't have availability.
Yeah.
Because
Yeah.
that means you're doing well. And I think, again, I've said this before too, but like, that makes you a best negotiator, because now you're not, if a gig pops up or a project pops up that you actually want to do, you'll be way more relaxed negotiating through it than just going, oh, I have to get this. I have to
Correct.
get this, right?
Yeah.
And you'll get a better deal for you and the client in turn at the end of it, because you were not desperate. You were not just
Yeah.
taking it the first thing they're like.
Anything someone's
Yeah.
throwing at me, I don't
Yeah.
care what it pays. I have to do it.
Exactly,
And
yeah. And that's when you make bad deals.
yes, 100%. And I feel like we've all done that,
Yeah.
and we learn from it. And it's like, okay, I'm not getting out of bed for this much money. It is what it is.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, you got to pick that number. Otherwise,
Yeah.
because
Nothing
you don't want to
against
be
you.
miserable. The worst thing
Correct.
you can do as a video person is show up on set, and then be miserable because you are not happy with. Because even if
Well, it shows.
my thing is, yeah, exactly.
Your
And
whole
then-
crew's going to know.
and then you're never gonna get hired, or even because you have to understand they offered you a rate, and I'm not saying that was a good rate, whatever the rate. Let's say
Yeah.
they offered you really low rate, just say no. But if you say yes for some reason, like
You
say
agree
gotta
to
pay
it.
your bills, then go be good, be positive, and not be miserable because it's $100 or whatever that you deserve, obviously more. Because nowadays, again,
Absolutely not
$100
doing it
is
for
like-
$100.
Yeah, but I'm just saying somebody is at that level where they will do it for $100.
Yeah.
Then at that point you have to at least still give it your 100%, because guess what? You don't know who else is there who
Correct.
may hire you.
Or
And
who will
that
see
is
that video.
exactly. And
Yeah.
and that could be, a portfolio piece if you were a camera or for whatever. The point is, you don't know what it leads to, but guess what it will do? Negative recommendation will go much further than positive recommendation.
100%. Yeah.
Because guess what? Everyone will be like, "Oh, that guy."
I remember that guy. Yeah.
he was
Not again.
Not fun
Yeah.
to be
Yep.
around. And even though you may be great, you just were not happy about being paid such a low rate. So again, don't take it if
And
if you won't be happy. That's the
Correct.
thing at the end of the day. But again, I'm all for. I don't like people being taken advantage of. But to be real, when you're green, I think people should just be on more sets. And if that means $50 or $100, as long as they're not disrespecting you, they're being upfront, like, "Hey, this is the rate."
yeah, no,
But and they're accepting that you're green, right? There's a fair exchange there. I think you should do it, because that's the only way you can learn.
Well, you're going to get $100, but you're also going to learn a lot.
Exactly, and that's worth
And that's
way more
valuable.
than the money.
Correct.
Yeah.
That's valuable. And that's honestly why I try to get on sets, because I want to see what you're doing. I want to see how you're doing it, and how can I implement what I'm doing with what you're doing. And I was like, man, that's going to make me a better shooter, whether it's your lighting or the way you set up your camera, the way you shoot, or, hey, look at this. And I think I said it earlier, it's like, I would have never thought of that if I had not been here today. I would have never learned that.
And what's funny is that I just threw this together. So I didn't get enough sleep. I was like, what do I have in the camera cart? And then put it together. So, I'm glad you like it.
So say it looks great.
Yeah, I mean,
we're here hanging out.
Power of FX6, right? It just makes everything look nice.
Kind of wish I had a hat on this here.
The shine,
this crazy shine line.
My bad lighting.
No,
I could move the backlight away, but I'm too lazy to do that.
No, we're good. We're good.
We just live with the shine.
I love that I even have that. That's pretty cool.
Yeah. So, but see, that's what I'm talking about, and I'm glad at least you learned something. So that makes me happy, because that's my point, man. I'm still trying to learn, because this industry moves so fast. It's crazy how,
speaking of that,
talk about SHOT Show like that. We have NAB, and every year they're freaking launching new crap. And it's hard to sometimes even keep up for somebody like me who's so freaking obsessed with everything.
Yeah.
I have that personality. I have to know everything. I have to test everything to see how it fits in my workflow, which can become really hard when freaking 500 new products come out, and you're like still trying to run a freaking large video production company. So anyway, it can get very overwhelming also with what we do if you want to do it. At least at the size or the scale that I'm trying to at least do.
With the way things are moving, because something you just said made me think this. What do you think of all the AI stuff that's coming out to essentially assist in your video production and quality?
I think it's incredible. I can't wait for new tools to come out. See, I don't know why people get so worked up over it's going to take our jobs. It's not going to take a job.
I don't think it will.
Because the thing is, what makes me is me.
Yeah.
I don't know the right way to say it, but think of this way. Just client comes and gives you $1,000 and they give me $1,000. They say, go make a video, right? You'll make a great video.
Separate.
I'll make a great video, but it will not be the same video.
Correct. Yeah.
So it doesn't matter how good the AI gets. It will not make the video. I will make the video. And my clients don't come to me because they just want a video. They want my video, because it made their friend or somebody they know, there's companies 10x, 20x revenue. That's why you come to me. You don't come to me. Well, they get a decent looking video as a bonus, right?
Yeah.
Obviously, because I'm a creative person, I want to make good videos. We'll try and make it the best looking video at that price point. That's just a bonus, right? You're coming to me because you say, hey, I want to sell, 100 new of what I sell every month. That's why I'm there, right? I'm trying to see if video can solve that, and if it can, how it can solve that. And that's why you bring me on. I don't know why an AI can, or how an AI can replace that. If it can, then I'll happily retire. I mean, I'm too young to retire at 33, but I will. I mean, that's what it is. And at the end of the day, I don't think AI is going to get there, because it's not going to replace me. But I'm all for AI helping me. As soon as ChatGPT came out and all these people were like, writers are... I was like, no, this is incredible. This gives you starting point. It clearly is not good enough to replace a writer. But what it does replace is it's true. Instead of me having them to wait weeks and weeks, now I can be like, okay, here's the first draft. Now make it good, right?
Yes. Yeah.
They may only get 1 or 2 days, so it did affect a little bit, but it's not like replacing them. I would never just take something off Chat GPT and
You have to
personally.
refine it to
Yeah.
your liking and
Exactly.
to your personality. And
Yeah, and
how you
also it
are.
has a way to write it, which is like a little jargony. I don't know. I'm not a fan of it, but it's a really good starting point.
Yeah.
Especially like, for example, I was starting the podcast. I'm like, I don't want to sit here brainstorm names. I'm like, okay, here's what I'm gonna do. Right? I've literally described it. I'm Vipul Bindra. I'm the founder and owner of Bindra Productions. This is what I do. I want to start a podcast because I want to talk to cool people, and I want other people to maybe want to listen to this. What
Yeah.
should the podcast be? You know, you have to also feed it information. And gave me freaking 20 lists, and half of them were terrible.
I was
So I'm
gonna
like,
say,
oh,
all
yeah,
of
that's
them are
how it is.
terrible.
So I was like, oh, these two I like, right? Can you give me more like that? And then, out of that, I was like, oh, these are more the vibe I'm going for. The point is, it took me, I'm saying that now, but it took me like 10 seconds to do that. And 30 seconds later, I had a name, right? It would have taken me hours in the past to come up with that.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, I'm just trying to get it over with. I don't have time and energy. This isn't making me money to spend hours on
That's
a
what
name that doesn't matter, right?
That's what actually took me the longest time to create an LLC was I can't come up with one that
Yeah.
makes me happy.
Exactly. Or you end up with like worse. But this was
Yeah, I was
literally
gonna say-
because I didn't have Chat GPT.
I was
I
gonna
was just
say-
like, I don't know what to name it. All right, just last name
Name
and productions.
Productions. Yep.
And I now wish you could go back and change it, but too late. But that's what happened. I wish
Yeah.
I had Chat GPT. I would have come up with a better
Yeah.
name.
The one I have now was a mix through ChatGPT and then from a friend.
What do you name it?
So it's so I live in the 321, which is Brevard. So it's 321 Action Media.
Okay.
But it can also be construed as like 321
Yeah.
Action
Exactly.
Media.
pretty cool.
And I thought that part was pretty cool. But now after seeing it and hearing it, I was like, I hate that it says media on it. Granted, it is media. It is what it is. But it
You want it to be what? 3-2-1 action?
yeah, so it's like 321 Action.
Is that available?
Media.
Probably
Actually,
not.
It might be.
Hey,
But
you may
probably-
want to.
Yeah, I was gonna say.
you want to go
but-
immediately buy that because.
Well, I have a new one now.
Okay.
So I'm going to keep 321 Action Media, and then I just opened another one through Wyoming. I don't know if you know the Wyoming thing. So I bought or set it all up for the company. I don't want to say it on here because
Yes, that's fine. You're probably going for privacy there.
I could have
Wyoming,
some conflict of interest on who might hire me because of this thing. It's gun related, and the whole goal is to sell camera gun styled merch.
Mhm.
And anyone that I've said it to, I said it to you at the thing. I don't know if you remember it or not, but it's in the process, and I'm super excited about it. I'm gonna get some badass shirts made, and
Oh, I remember.
I just got to be careful that my
Yeah.
name's not attached to it.
Yeah.
Because Disney's gonna like, hey, like we'd love to have you on set to shoot whatever. Like, oh, you're a gun guy.
Yeah,
I'm gonna
exactly.
pass. I'm gonna go to someone else. I'll go to you, and or maybe not you, but you know what I mean.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
So-
No, I know what you mean. Yes, I get it.
And it's
Yeah.
like you're gonna not hire me because of that, but yes, there are people that are like that, and unfortunately, you got to keep your name off of things, and that's where it's gonna go. So
But that's pretty cool, though. I mean, hey, look, I'm hats off to the entrepreneur part of it here. Like, you're doing it, you're achieving it, but you're also being smart about it because you don't want to lose.
I don't want to lose income.
Yeah, because of
to make
something
some.
Yeah,
I don't want to lose
exactly.
some to make some. And
Mhm.
at that point, it's not worth it. So,
Yeah.
but I think it is cool, and I feel like some people will be wearing the T-shirts.
When
and,
are you planning to launch that?
I just purchased the Wyoming side of it.
Mhm.
That takes a couple days to process. Tuesday, I'm probably going to set it up because that's when I'm going to be with my guy out in Daytona.
Using Shopify.
I don't know how I'm going to do all that yet.
Okay,
This is going to be a whole
2D,
brand new adventure. Shopify would work.
Yeah.
I feel like it would work.
Yeah.
I don't know
I mean,
how I'm going to do.
Thank
like, the
goodness
whole-
this is not one of those YouTube channels. Otherwise, I'd be like promo code down here.
yeah, 20%.
No, we don't have no sponsorships here.
20%
Yeah.
or Bindra 20.
Yeah, or whatever. Yeah.
But yeah, I'm hoping that works out. I'm gonna make some cool things, and whether you buy it or not, I don't care. I want to do it for me, and that's what's gonna make me happy. So
Yeah, I mean, and like that's what it's about, man. At the end of the day, it's all about you. You're happy. I mean,
yeah,
and you're making money. I mean,
I think other people like, and I already see people kind of doing what the company name is gonna be based around, and like the program. I've actually started a group also on Instagram, like a private chat, like how the Orlando, Florida filmmakers one is. I've got a couple buddies in that one. Emmanuel's in it. A couple of my local buddies, and I'm trying to use that as essentially like the Orlando, Florida filmmakers page, but for us guys over there. And then like we'll dip into some people over here, but all guys that I know, all guys that I would bring somewhere, personable people and people that I'd like to be around.
Yeah.
And hopefully within that group that can grow kind of like the Orlando one, but just a group of fun guys that I enjoy being around, and hopefully guys they enjoy being around, and we'll all work together and have some fun and maybe shoot some guns and create some content and wear badass t-shirts.
Look at that. I mean, that sounds pretty fun. I mean, to a subset of audience, I guess it may not be so, but that sounds pretty fun. Yeah. I mean,
I think most of the people, or at least all my buddies, they're all stoked on it so far. And they're like, dude, when are you doing that? Like, it's going to take a little bit of time. So.
Yeah, I don't know why, but that's just a controversial topic in America. I don't get it. Look, I wasn't born in America. I chose to be an American. So I'm slightly different, you know, perspective on things. But point is, I don't get the whole everything this becomes a controversy thing. So, but we're gonna skip past that. But either way, it makes no sense to me. Because you're just having fun.
It's like that in politics. It's like you believe what you believe in, I believe what I believe in. You're a good dude, I'm a good dude. Like, let's work together. Let's have some fun.
Exactly. We don't need to argue about it.
Yeah.
It makes no sense to me. But that's just
don't not hire me because of that.
Yeah,
and I wouldn't not hire you.
And I work. Man, I work. I've done obviously political stuff. I've done it for both sides. I've nothing against anyone. I think all Americans are like me, just cool people trying to make money. Yeah, and that's what unites us, in my opinion. Having been to enough countries. I mean, I'm not world travel, but I've been to enough countries to see the difference I find, at least with, and which is why I feel so strongly as an American now, is because we're united by one front. We all want to be fucking, we want to be rich. Yeah. We all want to, not that meaning everyone will get there, but we all united in that one front of we want to be successful, we want to provide for our families, and we want to have a good time. And I think that's unite, no matter what you believe in. I think, tell me if I'm wrong. I think that's what every American is united by. Yeah,
the American dream.
Exactly. And so I don't get the arguments, because at the end, the core, we are way more similar than anyone else, out there.
Yep,
so.
100%. And it is what it is.
Yeah. So I mean, we're gonna move back.
Let's
go back to the.
It's
fun
funny
stuff.
that that's where it went. But
but hey, this is unscripted. It goes live. It goes wherever. So I mean, hey, it's okay.
No. Let me ask you a question.
Yeah, go ahead.
What if you were to let's say you didn't have the van, and you were to wake up and go shoot like your dream shoot? You had a month to plan it. Or I guess like what kind of style or what would you want to go shoot? Like if you could wake up tomorrow and be like, man, I wish I shot this. Okay. Now knowing what you know, what would you shoot?
Okay, I would shoot. Okay, have you seen Drive to Survive? Do you know what that is?
F1. Yes, I did. I wasn't an F1 fan until I watched that.
Okay, I've been an F1 fan since 2006. The only sport I follow, so I'm obviously a nerd, cameras, video games. That's what I was into.
Those camera guys
the only
are nuts.
the only sport I've watched since I was a kid is Formula One. I just love, because it's techie again. You have to have the literally millimeters perfection to get it. Like it's so advanced. Anyway, I love that thousandth of a second matters. Not to go into a tangent, but I found growing up that I just cared about time too much, and other people around me didn't. So I love that sport because I was like, oh, thousandth of a second matters here. Like time matters. So anyway, I've been watching as a kid, and then obviously nobody in America, actually even India where I grew up, nobody freaking knew about the sport or cared about it. It was a European thing, and I was the only idiot, like I have to watch every race. I have to watch it live because it's not the same once you know the result.
Yeah.
Anyway, so I've been watching as a kid, and then finally this show comes out, and this is and this is after I've been doing video production, and it just popularity boomed in America like nobody's business. So it's great. And what's crazy is, which obviously I watched, I would make it slightly different, but again, they do really great the way they edit it. So good for them. I mean, they're helping make the sport I like popular, so I'm not gonna complain. But what's crazy is what I loved is watching behind the scenes, and they're they're shooting on these FX6s, FX9s, or whatever FX3s. the Zaxcom equipment they had. The point was, I was like, I could literally go, and this is years ago. I was like, I could literally go in my storage unit and right now shoot this thing. Right, the equipment isn't the issue. Plus, the passion is there. I know all these drivers. Like, I'm following the sport.
Yeah.
Is the reason they got it is because they have the contacts, or like we're talking about. I don't have a contact in F1. I have contacts somewhere else. But anyway, so to bring it back together is
One
like.
day.
Yeah, so my ideal right now, at least dream gig, if it would be anything to do with Formula One. Obviously, I love what I do, talking heads, interview style footage, B-roll, all the typical corporate stuff that I love to do.
But that's your
But
dream.
but yeah, with something to do with Formula One, like a documentary on, I don't know, a driver or a team, because Drive to Survive is done, so I don't want to repeat what they're doing.
I thought they were doing another season.
Yeah, they are. What I'm saying is done as in like it's already been done. I'm not gonna copy what's already being made and it's successful. But what's crazy is I already have all the equipment. Like, I could literally make a show like Drive to Survive, same quality, same everything, same skill set.
You just don't have the access.
Yeah, I would love to. So, plus also the thing is, even if I got access, if it was like, fund it myself, I'm not funding it. That matters. I mean, it's one day would be fun to go shoot one day then. But yes, ideally, So an ideal gig right now would be if I could go film something with Formula One with a good budget, and I would like to make something like Drive to Survive, but my vision, my style.
That'd be cool.
So it'd be very similar, but editing would be completely different. I don't like how they edit, how they tell their stories. They're very, very non-linear. I don't know. That's just not my style. But that would be awesome. But again, this is a hypothetical. I don't know in Formula One. I doubt anyone is listening to this, but if they are in Formula One, please reach out to me.
I'll be your BTS guy.
Exactly. I'll make.
You gotta take me because I asked you the question.
I've only been doing this for 14 years now, so I think I know a little things or two. I mean, especially talking head. I've done it like 20,000 times by now. I could freaking light any driver like in my sleep. So
would you have the softbox and the grid in the shot?
See, again, it depends. So it depends on the budget and the time. If you're like, hey, you've got, I don't know, 30 minutes to set up, right? Because it depends on availability too. Then yes, this is my go-to setup right now, 600X.
No, I'm saying, would you have it in the shot with the talking head? Because in that, when they're doing interviews with the drivers,
I would never do that. Yeah,
you see it, and I was like, well, that's questionable. This is like a full setup.
But Netflix been doing weird things. I've seen, which is fine. Again, that's the creative aspect of it. Some of the angles that they do, their third angles, is just not something I would do. But that's okay. That's
they're going to do what they want.
Yeah, exactly. And that's what the creative thing is. I may do a third angle differently. So I still do that too. I'll do two angles and then a third angle. Anyway, point is, I wouldn't really do that. And if actually, again, I have more time to set up, I'd probably do like a frame and a booklight type of setup. Anyway, I wouldn't even have the softbox. Again, I don't know how much time they get to set up and all that. That would determine, which is the whole purpose behind the van, right? Like, if we have to go move quick, we can. And if we have time to set up, we can. We can take both approaches.
No one's going to pick this apart unless we're in this industry.
Yeah, no.
To normal people, like, man, that's so cool. Like, look at that thing. Look at that fancy light. And,
I'm like, nah. I mean, it's good to be, again, this setup has made me tons of money because most of the time I do corporate, talking heads, because testimonials, brand videos, whatever, all essentially boils down to some kind of B-roll and some kind of talking head. And a lot of times I've done this, by the way, 12 to 15 interviews, one stop to other, literally take the equipment, pull out, set up, interview out, next location, next setup. So you got to move quick. And this setup is beautiful and moves fast. We don't have time to set up like an 8x8, make a book light or whatever. We got to move. So a Light Dome 150 with a 600X is so incredibly fast and beautiful. It's made me tons and tons of money because I can set this up in 5-10 minutes at most. Plus, I can bring anyone. 99% of people will set this up too.
What size is that box?
So this is what 5 foot, I believe, is the.
It's pretty big.
Yeah, it's pretty good. Obviously, not every office is going to be big enough. Sometimes
Correct.
they shove you in freaking tiny offices.
Yeah.
Then I like the F22Cs because it's like 2x2, and it's like this thick, because
that's what I was looking at. And I got to play with it at the
at the event, and that's really good for travel, and also sometimes when you got to be fast because. It is what it is. Again, it's all about timing. A lot of people may not watch that. That's why I'm saying. That's why I don't judge other people's work because, maybe like, oh, I could have done it differently.
You don't know what they had.
Yeah, you also don't know the time they had. It's not the
Yeah.
equipment. Like, for example, as you saw, equipment's not an issue. But if I only have 10 minutes versus I have 10 hours, obviously that's too much. But you get my point.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
And I will like and do things differently. So it also boils down to is what.
Can you be efficient enough
exactly
with what the gear is provided?
Yeah, at the end of the day, it's all about workflow. So the new workflow that you've seen, the whole idea is literally it's saving seconds. Literally, this saves me. It's not having to take the sticks out of bags, and the cameras out of bags. That's all I'm trying to say. So at this point, I'm so to what I do efficient that I'm literally trying to save seconds between transitions. So this is what I'm saying. At this point, like I've done this so much that the idea was, if I can have this cart already ready to go, I can already have the cameras on, and now all I got to do is press a button, cameras out. And my previous would have been zipper. You know what I mean? It's like
it's terrible.
At this point, I'm just trying to just gain tiny efficiency gains. It's really hard to go that far advanced.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, all I'm doing is talking heads and B-roll 80% of the time. Now I do get to do some cool commercials and sometimes some indie movies, other stuff on the side, which is more fun, I would say documentary. Yeah. But most of corporate work is talking heads and some kind of B-roll to go with it. And you have to become, and you'll usually be shoved in the ugliest room with the ugliest walls. So being able to make that look even remotely good is where the skills are.
I was gonna say that's your problem solving and trying to make
exactly.
it look good.
And sometimes you 5 minutes to discuss it. Like, okay, here we are, and you're like, okay, and then sometimes you peek. Oh, that looks good. Could we do it here? And sometimes they'll say no. And then sometimes like, oh, the doctor's waiting, or this CEO is waiting. It's like, no, you got to do it in 10 minutes or they're gone. Like this is it. So sometimes you can't even set up a light. You're just like, okay, camera, go.
We're gonna make it work.
Exactly, because at the end of the day, the content trumps shot, or the lighting or whatever. But anyway, that's at least what I'm chasing right now. It's just how fast can I go to a location, set up a talking head, and how fast can I pack it and go to a next location? Because very rarely am I doing videos, and I love those days. I'm paying myself. Even whether I'm a production company or helping somebody, I'm paying by day rate to myself. So whether it's 30 minutes or whether it's 10 hours, I'm getting paid the same. So I love those days where it's just one talking head. I've had that happen where it's like, okay, 10 minutes interview, we're done. All right, that's it. So I love those days, but they're rare. Usually you're like 10 people in the video, so you got to go get 10 people. Yeah. And the only way you can get that is by getting 2 assistants, me, that's my usual crew size for that type of video. And then we're just rushing. It's like in, out, in, out, in, out. We don't have time to. And then while I'm packing up, I'll hand them like 2 gimbals with FX3. So 2 FX6s for like A and B camera. And then while we're doing interview, I'll generally hand someone an FX3 on handheld. I really like that third angle. And I'll say, okay, so that's my third angle, 2 sticks. And then as soon as that gets, okay, I'm going to pack all this while you guys grab these 2 FX3s on gimbals and get me whatever B-roll.
Some B-roll. Got it.
So while my assistants are getting B-roll, I'm packing up. Now we're at this next location, same thing, repeat. I
guess when they're done, you're done. Let's roll.
Yeah.
Next one. Got it.
So now maybe if I can load up much faster, maybe I can also help with B-roll. Generally, I'm so busy. I'm saying with these type of videos, not all.
Yeah.
I just get to tell them, hey, this is the type of shots I want, and then they just go have to get it for, especially with B-roll. I always take care of A-roll. But so if I have more time, maybe I can be more involved and stuff like that. We'll see. That's at least the I hope that makes sense. What I'm trying to get to is at this point, I'm just trying to gain minutes. Yeah. So it may sound crazy to someone else, but that's at least what I'm trying to do.
No, but you're also being efficient.
Yeah.
And I think if you're being efficient, it's also going to become easier as well.
Mm-hmm. Because that's what I like.
Everyone likes that. Yeah.
See, I'm the crazy idiot because everyone I meet, it's funny. I just had this conversation yesterday with a buddy who's just hanging out, not a podcast. And he was just like, all I want to do is do corporate stuff so I can make money so I can go make indie movies, right? Or something like that. And I'm like, I just want to make corporate videos. I like this. I live and breathe video production. And if I can go make other people money and do filmmaking at the same time, why wouldn't I? Obviously, like we talked about, sure, a Formula One documentary would be a great
super cool
gig. Ideally, I'm happy where I'm at. I just need to just become more and more efficient at this. and to be able to scale this. And I'm starting to figure out. And again, I need a mentor. I need to find people where how do I now keep scaling this? Because I feel like it's getting harder to scale what I'm doing. You know, I'm already.
Do you have like a number one like go-to guy? Like when I guess maybe this depends on the job, but like, do you have someone that you call more than often, like to go back and forth with on things?
No, I'm always calling people that I know I've done a specific job like that with, because to be honest, at this point, like I said, I don't want to. All I'm doing is talking head and
Yeah, okay.
B-roll. So sometimes, literally, the hardest thing is, okay, so I need to do this in New York. I don't want to fly there. Like, let me get somebody local to do it. But then, who is my guy there that I trust to get footage to look like I would, right?
Yeah.
So it's more like that. And then sometimes it's like, oh, I want to go there. Okay, so then it's fine. Now what am I bringing with me? So it's like, it's more like that. You have to just decide money. It's like what I'm saying. It's like puppet master is what you become when I'm producing. That's what I'm saying. The fun I have is on other people's gigs where you're like, hey, come on my set. Now
No
I don't have
stress.
stress.
Yeah,
all
no
I'm
stress,
doing
yeah.
is this is what I got to do. And when I leave, whatever I get paid, this profit. There's no cost per se, I guess. Maybe gas a little bit, but usually if it's outside of Orlando, that'll be paid too. But the point I'm trying to make is it's a pure profit. It may not be a lot, but it's still some money, good money. But on the other side, I'm not stressed. Now I can be creative. I can
Which is a huge thing.
Yeah, exactly.
And
you need a balance of that. For a while, I only did first, like I was freelancer, then I did only producer stuff, and it quickly got boring. So last 2 years, I've been doing now a healthy balance, and I found, at least for me, this is what works. Like, as long as I can make money, do my own gigs, but then I can balance it with helping other people and being able to be creative and help them at the same time, I think I'm happy.
Okay.
You know?
Yeah, sounds good.
So that's essentially kind of.
I love the helping part also, because I feel very heavy into that as well.
Yeah, because I'm the stupid, like I said, because my advice to everyone is don't buy equipment because it doesn't have the ROI. Since now I'm the idiot who's bought all this, anyone at least I know might as well use it and take advantage of it.
Yeah.
Like before you showed up, I literally had a friend here who's like, hey, I need an FX3. I got a gig showed up. Can I get that and a gimbal and an ND filter? I'm like, here you go. Here's the cart. There you go.
Bada bing, bada
And
boom.
he gets the thing. He'll return tomorrow. I get some rental money out of it, a couple $100. You know, why am I going to complain? You know,
No.
I'm making money.
And it's sitting here.
It's good for him.
Not,
Exactly.
yeah.
So might as well let other people benefit from
Absolutely.
it. That's what I'm saying. So I've been doing this for now 2 years now, this new thing where I'm doing both. And it's worked out great. So I'm not complaining.
Yeah.
So I guess I'm going to just try and continue doing this and just get more efficient, get better. I want to work with more new people. Again, I love working with everyone I know already, but I want to, again, expand my horizon, be on different type of sets, see what else is there to explore and learn.
That's
kind of what I'm trying to do now. It's just I found that that's kind of corporate limit, you know, again, talking head and B-roll. And then commercials get cool, but there's only so many commercials that, you know, I get fit in the schedule. Same thing with documentaries.
Let alone, is it even worth going?
Yeah.
Profit? Is it something fun?
Yeah, it depends on set build. I mean, I love one thing I did dabble on a lot this past year was was set building with these commercials. So like, you know, working with different set builders and building fancy sets and stuff. That's pretty cool. But again, same thing. It's like I want to do a balance of everything. I guess I don't want to do one thing over and over again.
Yeah,
you know? It gets boring.
That's why I love what I'm doing, because I'm all different.
Which is what I was going to ask
Yeah.
you. So how do you make it different? Because if you're doing, let's say, power sports, after a while, isn't this? And I know obviously there's nuance to each equipment, but to me they look the same. So how do you be creative and make it look different? Or
the power sports is actually pretty cookie cutter. That one is kind of its own thing, and that job in particular does get a little bit on the boring side, but I try to change it, and now it's actually become a new thing because I'm trying to do a YouTube thing myself. Like, hey, like, not necessarily a content creator, but like, look, I'm an average Joe. I picked up a camera. I learned how to do it. I'm making good money. Come watch me do this. So now that job specifically is turned into an opportunity to show other people like, hey, I can do this. Why can't you? The fun aspect of that job is I get to rip on the side-by-sides. We go out, or sometimes I take it out in the woods, and there's a spot that I take it to shoot, and then there's a trail out there I can go ride around in and have some fun. But that one is stale, especially summertime when it's 110 degrees outside and I'm outside taking videos or pictures of units. That is terrible.
Florida heat will get
I was going to
you.
say, outside of that, it's a fun job. Grain of salt. My other jobs, though, so my gun manufacturer job. One day I'm shooting guns that haven't been released. I'm shooting models that they don't know if they're going to release it. I'm shooting someone else shooting it. It could blow up. It's a test model or prototype. We don't know what's going to happen.
Yeah.
I'm there capturing it. If it does blow up, homie's hand's also blown up. I'm going to be there to capture it. I'll probably also be calling an ambulance for him because his hand's gone. But I get to do a bunch of really cool stuff. I was just with, I was going to say his name, but I probably shouldn't. I was just with a 9-year Ranger sniper guy. He was telling some wild stories. The things he's done and the things I found out about him afterwards, it was kind of mind blowing that I was with somebody like that. I would have never known. And I mentioned his name to a buddy and he's like, oh, dude, he's like, you're with that guy? Like, that's insane. Do you know the people he knows and the things he's done? I was like, no, tell me about it. And I was kind of shocked. And come to find out, he does, not going to say that. He wants me to come shoot some more stuff for him. So that is really cool. He's got a ranch essentially where they shoot guns out of side-by-sides and out of helicopters. And I don't know if I'm going to be one of his main media guys, but it seems like I could have potential to be that guy.
That's pretty cool.
I don't know where I'm going to puzzle that into my 9 to 5, Monday through Friday. That's not really 9 to 5, but I can promise you one thing. If he says, hey, I need you here Saturday, I'm going to go work Saturday. Because if I can be in a helicopter while they're blasting whatever they're blasting, targets, pigs.
What is it, tannerite? Is that the word? No.
Say tannerite?
Yeah, what is this? Isn't that the thing that they use when they shoot that blows up? Is it called tannerite or?
Oh, yeah. The targets, target, correct? Yeah. I'm pretty positive that's the name of it.
Yeah,
they shoot.
I don't have access to
They shoot a whole bunch of crazy stuff. And while I was there, I probably saw like 40 different guns and they're all shooting them. I did learn the hard way that your earmuffs, they don't work if they're up here.
Yeah.
And when you're trying to listen to people talk, because you don't have the fancy ones that have the speakers on them and they only go quiet when you shoot, I learned real quick.
Yeah, you don't want to lose your hearing.
If you're in a shooting range that's roughly 5 foot wide and 6 foot tall, just enough for you to stand in there and shoot, if that thing is not where it needs to be, your ears will be bleeding, and it is the worst pain I've ever experienced. They weren't really bleeding, but they should have been. It was terrible. But I stuck to
that's why I don't do indoors. I only outdoors, because for me, that just like you said, the echo also is just, I don't know. I'm not.
This was just a test range. So, and they're like, hey, we want some footage of us shooting this gun. I was like, all right, cool, I'm in. I'll never make that mistake again.
You gotta protect your ears.
If that guy calls me, I'll either quit a retainer client or I will be there whatever hour he wants me to be there, because that was one of the cooler experiences I've ever experienced.
Yeah, that's pretty cool. Sounds a little unsafe, but hey, I mean, as long as they have some safety around, it will be.
They actually they implemented a lot of things. He turned around and looked at me, the other one, and he was like, hey, you ready? And I was like, yeah, I'm ready. And the other shots we shot, he made sure I had them on. And I guess he probably saw them on, but they just weren't on correct. And as soon as he realized I was not standing next to him anymore, he stopped. He apologized like a billion times, like, you being new to guns, like, that's on me. Yeah. Which that was cool, but in the end.
Yeah, I mean, they care, you know. You'll learn too. Yeah, you want to buy the good stuff.
Yeah.
I'm
going to buy my own. Yeah, I'm going to buy my own just for future. And it's hard to kind of direct while having headphones on, then also listening to them. I learned that too.
Yeah, you got to put an earpiece in and then those on top. Yeah.
A general contractor, it's something different. Whether it's a house from a murder scene that just got burnt down and the family was just murdered in there the day before we got there, which that happened.
That's interesting.
Yeah. We see some crazy things to just mold infestation, hoarders, and things that need to be completely ground leveled and brought back up. And he gets really cool stuff. Obviously, he gets boring jobs like AC jobs, whatever. We shoot that too, though, because people need to see that he also does that.
Yeah.
And it's just something new every day. And it's and if we're not shooting, we're shopping for couches, because his mom needed a new couch, and his mom's kind of elderly, and she's like, "Hey, we go." And he's like, "Dude, I forgot you were coming." And I was like, "All right, well, I guess we'll go shop for couches together."
I mean,
so,
hey, you're getting paid. I mean, yeah, exactly. This sounds incredible. I
Yeah.
mean, and that's what I want people to know. I mean, taking aside your opinion on guns, you're out there, you're recording cool stuff, right? And you're getting paid for it. That's incredible.
I'm
that
having a blast.
People aren't like, think outside the box. It's not just also corporate. Like, indirectly, it's, I guess, corporate, but or influencer stuff. The point is, you can go shoot, like, make videos about people just shooting guns or testing guns or whatever, and make a living doing that. That's incredible. You're still a videographer. You're just doing that niche, and I don't know. I think I find that very incredible that you found this, and then you're doing such. You're doing good. I mean, in that, and you're doing it with such little equipment, and you're doing such a good job at it. I mean, hats off to you.
They're eating it up, so I'm going to keep doing it.
Yeah, and I hope, and I'm sure there's lots of other industries like that we're not thinking about right now, where you that is exactly what they need too. They need someone to come in and record whatever cool crap that they're doing there. So people, think outside the box too. Like, find your passion, and then find another hobby that you like, and see if you can combine that. So if your passion is to make videos and your hobby is to, I don't know, skateboard, right? How can you connect that? I mean, that may be too many people. So,
no,
but there's
so
so many other things like that you may not even connect. And like I said, like, I'm thinking, like, on my end, like, oh, Formula One, and you never know, like, that may happen. So it's like,
it's true.
But that's incredible that there's so many opportunities out there.
Would you do like IndyCar or anything like that, or would it more specifically need to be F1?
But I would definitely do it. I've done car stuff before.
Okay,
so dealerships and stuff and stuff. So I would happily do car stuff, but that, I'm saying, Formula One's Formula One. There's no Indy. I don't know. I don't want to disappoint any Indy fans, but Indy is not Formula One. Let's not
be careful.
We'll start a controversy today. I mean, let's not get our head over ourselves.
All your comments are going to be about F1 and Indy, and not where it needs to be.
Yeah, exactly. Not about camera or sales or video production. But no, there's not even remote competition.
I don't think so either. My neighbor is a big F1 guy.
Yeah.
But there's one Indy race, Indy 500. I don't know what it is.
Yeah, Daytona. Yeah.
He goes nuts about it. It's a full day thing, like full cookout, everything. He's like, yep.
Really?
I'm dedicating my day to this. But he also dedicates every F1 race to F1, and that's what he does.
That happened to me long time ago when people found out, like, this is something 8-9 years, whatever, but they were like, "Oh, you're into cars. We got to go to Daytona one time, and I was like, no, I'm fine. It's not the same thing.
Yep.
Now, I would love to go to Formula One event, but at the same time, again,
you haven't been to one?
No, because I don't want to be cooked. Say again, the way I want to go is different. If I just want to watch a race, I can. TV presentation is amazing.
It's incredible.
I don't want to go see in a grandstand and only see that one, because the way you visit it is you sit on the grandstand and then you see whatever section of the track you're in. You're missing the rest.
And then hopefully there's a TV screen or something.
The screens that are up there. I don't want to do that. And maybe that's just me. I'd rather, now I will go happily if I can walk the. I can be part of and then they do sell tickets, but they're very expensive.
You can
be part of the paddocks and all that. That is what I'm more intrigued by, because to me that's not.
But you could go do that, then go home and watch the race.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Or and then if I'm there, obviously I'll watch it. I mean, because I'll have my phone. I can, or I'm sure they have screens there too.
Put something so you can hear everything.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Plus the other thing is I'm biased because I grew up again watching the British presentation of it. I don't like the American commentary, so I watch it on. F1 TV or whatever it's called, right? I pay for subscription, and the only reason I do that is they give you option. You can watch the default option, and then you can go to international, which is the Sky Sports or BBC, whatever one. And that's what I've been
the Sky
watching.
Box or whatever it's called.
Yeah, since again, since I was a kid, so I just want to listen to those people.
Yeah.
And that presentation, I don't want to listen to the F1 TV presentation, whatever.
Gotcha.
So I'm pretty sure when in person they'll be doing that presentation, which is, I mean, it's the same. It's just
presentation
a,
you don't want to
yeah,
hear.
it's just the commentary and some graphics may be different. It's not
Yeah.
a lot, but what I'm getting to is, yes, I would love to go, but it would have to be more than just sit in a Grange and watch the race. It would have to be bigger, and those tickets tend to be typically expensive. But at some point, I'll get to it.
Yeah.
One day, I will stop spending money on vans and video equipment, and I will have some extra cash to do that.
Flip side, the van rented enough will pay for that.
Exactly.
You get the full trip set up.
Go tell all your friends, hey, if they want it, I'm free. Let's do it. I mean, again, they have to have gigs, obviously, that worth the need. Even, I mean, forget the van. I mean, just the talking head would be worth it, but they would have to have where they need it, and they have a budget with the client that expects that. Because if your client expects a pocket, you show with this, that's also a negative experience.
Yeah,
it's one thing they're expecting a good setup, and you bring a better setup. That's a good experience. But if they're expecting no setup and you bring a big, huge setup, that's also, so we don't want to do that. So you would have to obviously have a set where they're expecting.
I will say, for the record, actually all jobs, I do show up with my A7S III build out. It's a Cineback setup. It looks very similar to an FX6. The normal person wouldn't know the difference.
Yeah,
they just see a big old camera setup, the V mount, the big monitor, handle everything. They're like, man, that thing's incredible. It's just an A7S III, which not to discredit the camera, because it's incredible for what it is.
Yeah.
But as time goes on, I shoot, and then I pull the Pocket out. I'm like, oh, what's that little thing? And I'm like, just let me shoot for it once, and then I'll shoot with it. I'm like, dude, I couldn't tell a difference. And I was like, you're blind, first of all.
Yeah.
But the turnaround time with it can be same day. I just Bluetooth it right over my phone, bada bing, bada boom. You can even throw it up in CapCut. I don't know if anyone's using CapCut, but for small, quick little edits, it's pretty gross how fast you can make something that will wow a client that thinks that you just did that. And it's just a pre-made template. And I don't want to push CapCut.
Yeah.
But for some people, that's...
If it works, it works. I have grown. Again, a few years ago, you had met me. I was a little snobbish, or I was like, no, it has to be done this way. Now I'm like, I accept it. That the truth, ever since, like, first when TikTok came out, I was like, to me, it was blasphemy to make your phone vertical. And now I will gladly do that. So it took me a few years to get around it. The thing is, you have to, again, like I say, you have to evolve. And that's where the cell phone content was going vertical. And I just initially didn't want to accept it. But hey, again, if
client's
that
happy.
makes you money, the client makes money, and that's the expectation on social media, which is why I try to aim for, the stuff that needs to be higher quality that they're sharing on, either commercials or on their websites or wherever, where it's not going to be lived for a few hours or a few days, at most. So, and if I do need social media content, which we do from time to time, I'll bring someone who's more, akin to wanting to do that.
Yeah.
And it's not like I couldn't do it. I just, it's just not my thing.
Not your thing.
Yeah.
And it's funny because I shoot all this fun stuff and I have the best day ever every time I go to job or go to work. I actually want to learn more of what you do. Not necessarily
it's funny,
you.
I'm like, I would see this was like funny. In one side, I just said I wouldn't do it, but then I'm like, ooh, testing a new gun where his hand could blow up. That sounds like pretty,
that's pretty cool.
Gnarly, but pretty. I don't know, fun. So I'm saying it's the fun thing. In one way, I'm like, I'm going to do it. But then on the other side, I'm like, if I have to hold a Pocket 3 to get that, I don't know. I would. Maybe I would buy a Pocket 3. Because like I said, on one side, my brain is like, I would never. But then I'm like, if that's the client requires and that's where the cool shoot is, then.
I was going to say, next thing you know, you're in a helicopter hanging out of it with a little Pocket 3.
Dude, I'd be one of this.
I'm in.
Yeah, people get. I am willing to do a lot. As long as, look. For the right shot, I'm willing to go far. As long as
you would be the one that they want the Pocket 3, and they're like, listen, let me just do it one time. Just let me use my real stuff one time. They're like,
I'd be the opposite.
Like,
I'd be like, one time we can do a talking head, right?
Yeah.
But not for social media. I completely agree with you. Like, it's overkill to be setting up lights and stuff. It's gonna live for 10 minutes, in
Yeah.
people's feed, and they're gone, because again, too much content, too much
Yeah.
noise.
Yeah.
You don't want to spend hours and hours and hours making that. It makes sense is to get the content out now
Yeah.
than
Also when it's
perfect
relevant.
it. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
When it's relevant. So
Yeah.
no, hats off to what you're doing. Like I said, and what I love is that we're both making money, and we're both doing similar but yet very different things. And I and you've kind of opened my eyes, because I kind of knew what you were doing because we talked about it.
Yeah.
But now to hear more in depth, I'm like, this is so incredible, man. Like, you've built yourself a kind of tiny little empire, where I think people need to hear about this. So I hope a lot of people will watch this and kind of
I
get
hope
an
so.
alternate option. Like, hey,
Yeah,
look,
absolutely.
here's what you can do, and you don't need any equipment, you don't need anything else. But before we wrap this up, I wanted to open this up again. Any other questions you had for me, or anything else you want to add? Um,
I mean, honestly, my biggest thing was to see what your dream thing was, because obviously you've worked with some high end clients. I learned that during the group or the whatever meeting, the network meeting. I didn't know. I never really knew of you outside of David's network thing, and you don't see anything that you do on your social media. So I was like, oh, it's just a dude that has a van now that I know about, and he does video like everybody else. I do the same thing. That's cool. But now that I'm here and you randomly hit me up, I was like, man, this guy doesn't know me. Like, I'm not the normal video.
Yeah, no, and we talked. So I kind of knew what you were doing. That's why I was interested when we talked. You mentioned the whole gun thing. I was like, oh, that's different, right? But I didn't know in this depth, like, what exactly how you do it and what your process is. But no, and that's the same thing. I'm so bad at it. Again, so when I initially started the production company, I was all about like trying everything. Like, here's ads, here's social media, here's this. Then I quickly realized that the best way, at least I was getting clients at the time, was these people are not. Again, I don't know now, but at that time, 6-7 years ago, they were not on Instagram, they were not on Facebook. These people were on golf courses, rich people, right?
Yeah.
So they're talking to each other. They're not going to Facebook or Instagram or Google to
You're
find
correct.
the recommendation like their clients are. My clients were talking to each other. So my thing was, I'm going to do a good job. I'm going to be honest, and I'm going to kill it. And generally, I got referrals, and I started to get more and more. So I was like, oh, so my sales strategy is very simple. I just have to do a good job, which I love anyway.
And rich people talk to rich people.
Yeah, exactly. So I don't even have to tell anyone. That's why I don't ask for reviews. I don't tell anything. I'm just like, hey, I wow them. Like I said, I told earlier, I'm like, okay, so we're going to do this project, this many people, this much, this. And then I'll always do more. I'll wow them, big lights, big setups. Then the video obviously needs to match what they were expecting and exceed their expectations. And I just found that people were like, oh, hey, my buddy, or this person recommended you. So many times people call me and they're like, oh, we heard about you from this. I'm like, who? Oh, okay, that client. Okay.
Yeah.
So, or that person I just met, maybe they're not even a client. I just met them at a networking event, and they were so impressed that I guess they recommended me. But the point is, which ended up kind of hurting me in a way, which I want to change, is that I ended up not pursuing any other avenues of advertising, because I'm like, well, why do I need to post on social media? Plus, I'm busy and lazy at both at the same time.
Yeah.
So ended up kind of just pigeonholing myself into just do more work. And obviously, through David, like I said, where we met, he knew it because I've hired him a couple of times, so he's seen my gigs, right? And I think he posted about it, which was also incredible. That's what got me on the idea of that I should be on social media, because it was a very unique idea of hiring. I never thought about his blog when I hired him, but then when he posted it, I saw it and I was like, this is a completely different perspective, right? Because I hired him because I saw his vlog that he can handle a C70 or whatever at the time I needed him to handle. But then on the other side of it, I was like, oh, this is what he thought about my gig, and this is how on the secondary it looks. And I was like, oh, this is a very unique perspective. So I value social media more now, and I want to post more, and hopefully maybe I'll bring in somebody in, or personally try to be more active to post more. But that's kind of where my mindset has been, and I don't know if it's correct, but at least I was like, oh, I'm getting work.
Yeah.
And none of these people are on Instagram. But now that I think about it, I'm sure there were some, maybe not these, that were on Instagram that never approached me because they never knew about me, right?
Yeah.
So yeah, and seeing David's perspective, I'm like, I need to do more. At least put our work out there, because and a lot of the stuff is NDAs. That's what annoys me a lot, and I don't want to not get those jobs because
I've got some cool stuff. Actually, a really big story is I don't know if it was really a $30,000 shot that I blew.
Oh, really?
But
oh yeah, I remember you mentioning.
Yeah,
tell us that. So towards the end, but I want to hear that story again.
A company sent me for their first launch because I'm over there by Space Coast. I know a bunch of the engineers, rocket guys, and I happen to have a buddy that is high up in a company. And he's like, hey, what are you doing on this day? And I was like, I don't know why you're asking me that, but I will be free whatever day you give me because I guarantee you it's going to be something badass. He's like, yeah, it's going to be badass. So if you got anything, cancel it. Luckily, it was a day I didn't have anything. And next thing I know, he said, hey, I need you at Tycho Airport. You're going to go to the whatever jet it's called. 2 helicopters come and pick me up. Well, 2 helicopters came. Obviously, I went one. There's another really big space photographer that was in the other one. He's like, listen, I want you to capture our first launch. I was like, all right, sweet, easy. I shoot a lot of photos. It's a rocket. Can't be that hard. Doesn't go off. Sweet. I've now been in a helicopter for 3-4 hours. I didn't realize how cold it is in a helicopter. Flew back, went up again. It was like T minus 10, 9, 8, and it gets to point like 3. It starts to go, and then it aborts last second. I got some banging photos.
I think I'm not the one you're talking about.
Like if the smoke's going off, it looks super sick. Doesn't go off. They're like, hey, it's going to go off on this date at midnight. And I was like, dude, nighttime? I was like, I don't do nighttime stuff, let alone helicopter nighttime stuff.
You're doing this with what, A7S3?
Yeah, it was A7S4.
Oh, A7S4.
Or this was an A7IV. I'm sorry.
Oh, A7IV.
Yeah, because I do a lot of photo stuff also. So this, or it's essentially my B camera, but also hybrid shooter. So I got an A7IV. And actually, I forgot. I borrowed for this specific one A7R4.
Okay.
And I had a 200 to 600. Come to find out, those two combined, the autofocus is atrocious. I blew the shot. I have shot rockets before. It's brighter than the sun, so I put my shutter at like 2500 because usually when I'm shooting out in daylight, ISO 100, shutter speed 2500. I can adjust pretty quickly. You only have a couple seconds, but I was like, listen, this should be where it's at. This particular rocket puts out a blue fire, and it is not bright. And so the helicopter pilots are like, it's going. I don't see it. I can't see anything. And by the time I got it locked in, it was already too far up, and I blew it. And my buddy's like, yo, like, how'd it go? And I was like, yeah, we'll see. Topaz photo, try to fix it. Nah, it was done. So
wow, that's crazy. So basically, the autofocus screwed you over, and that at least.
And I was exposing for it to be like daylight bright, like a normal rocket would be, and that was not the case. And so I'm looking through the little EV, and I'm 5 miles out in the air. I didn't mention that I had a new pilot. He was trying to learn how to whatever, and it was shaking me like crazy. The previous pilot, he knew to, once we got to the location, essentially just let it float, let the wind just carry it. We're only going to be there for a minute. If we go away, if we go towards, not a big deal. This pilot was trying to fight it and stay like GPS locked manually. So the helicopter's going on crazy. I can't find what I'm trying to shoot. And essentially I blew it. But thankfully I reported to my buddy. I was honest with him. He's like, listen, we're launching again 2026, maybe 25. He's like, you'll be in that helicopter too. And I was like, all right, I'm here for it. So
that's awesome. So just so I make sure, you were the only one they had get this
in a helicopter. Yes.
Yeah. So they had ground photographers, just not anyone in the helicopter.
Yeah. Okay. So the first 2 attempts, it was myself and another gentleman. That anything space related, especially SpaceX, that you see like their main guy, if you know who that is, that's who was in the other helicopter. When it came to the night one, he opted out. He said, I'm not doing the helicopter. He knows. That's all he shoots. He shoots one thing only. He is a master, wizard, whatever you want to call him. He still to this day is taking the coolest photos of that launch, but all from the ground. He knew better. I didn't. But they used his nighttime photos. He got some incredible photos. I almost actually got the calendar from him just because I thought it was cool, and it was like a kind of a memory thing for me. Like, hey, I was there for that.
Yeah.
Mine didn't. They look like crap. It is what it is. He got his. He knew what he was doing. I didn't. But again, that's experience. If I had known better, I probably wouldn't have went.
That's really awesome of them to say like, "Hey, you're gonna be back, and we're gonna let you do this again." I mean, that's
It was.
It's rare, but that's what you want to hear, right? You want another shot at it. But that's pretty cool, though. I mean, rockets are cool. I was up in NASA too, just a few months ago, up in the Space Center, Kennedy.
Yeah.
And that's before, I don't know if it's the same launch, but that's when they were going to launch Polaris Dawn, or what was the one?
Is it 3D printed?
I don't know. There was some, it's been a while, 6 months ago. It was for my production. I have like 3-4 projects going on a week. It's too old for me to remember.
Yeah.
But there was a rocket, I'm saying, that was going to launch. That was a big deal. So I don't know if that was the one. No, probably different. You're talking about the Rocket Lab one?
It's a 3D printed rocket. It's the largest 3D printed rocket.
Yeah, I think that's
been produced.
I don't keep up that much, but yeah, that was pretty cool though. Being there and looking at the rockets that are about to be launching the whole the Artemis mission and all that location. That was pretty cool to be inside.
Yeah.
It's been a few years since I'd been in there, so
it's pretty cool what they do out there.
Man,
it's pretty
cool. But that's so cool that you got that opportunity. Obviously,
that's who
kind of blew it, but that happens. Hopefully next time now you'll be capturing.
If it's a daytime launch, I'll be golden. If it's a nighttime launch, I'm still gonna go for it again. Gonna use a little bit different setup
and get it.
But you learn from your mistakes, and you won't make it again, or you shouldn't anyway. So,
but that's pretty neat, man. I'm excited.
I'm happy with it.
Again, thank you, Justin. I really appreciate you for coming out and talking and taking the time out of your day. I know you came straight after the shoot, so I really appreciate it. And
I appreciate you inviting me.
You're welcome. Of course, you're welcome, man. This has been incredible. I've learned so much, and hopefully some other people find value in this.
I hope so.
I said, that your journey is incredible. I would recommend talk to a lawyer, get some contracts in. But again, you don't have to. If it works, I mean, it works. But protect yourself.
I have done contracts for other jobs. If I didn't mention that,
No, you're fine.
Just my normal guys, I don't. But new guys, previous guys, when I used to shoot weddings, I did things like that.
Yeah, but I think what you're doing in general is incredible. I mean,
I appreciate it.
You found your alternate path and you've done it all by yourself. That's what to me is amazing.
Yeah.
So again, thank you for coming. You're welcome to come back anytime, man. I really appreciate you.
Yeah.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.